Wow, Erik Gundersen. Happy days. Right, I've just started it going. I just wait for some people to start coming on. They normally come on quite quickly. I'll get my thank yous. Right, I can see a few of you are starting to come on now. Evening all. Cool, that was a quick 30 people jumped on. Must be interested in someone. What's going on? Evening all. There's a few of you coming in and saying evening. How's it going? Right then, people, I will crack on with my thank yous before I introduce my mega guest, let's say. Right then, I'll get my thank yous underway. Big thanks for the support to Simon Pardo of White Eagle Finance. They give quality financial advice for pensions, mortgages, investments, protection. Check his website at www.whiteeaglefinance.co.uk. Big thanks to the legend Stefan Everts with his S72 gin and vodka brand. Check out his amazing products out at www.s72gin.com. And also big thanks to Lee Owen of Owen Developments. They specialize in supplying turbochargers to a global customer base covering motorsport, performance aftermarket and OEM sectors. Check them out on the shop side at www.owenturbos.com and also www.owendevelopments.co.uk. Right, my thank yous are out the way. Whoa, we're already nearly up to 100 live already. You must be interested. There must be something going on tonight, people. Whoa, that's a big name. It may be, maybe. Come on, Lee, let's get Tom Owen on. And surely it's a gin night for one. Actually, if the missus is listening, maybe she could get me a glass of gin would be nice. I'd like to toast to this man. Definitely online. So right then, people, let's get this introduction going then. I've got a bit to get through, let's say. Here we go then, people. Right then, people, I've got with me 3 times World Individual Speedway Champion, 2 times World Long Track Champion, 2 times British League Riders Champion, 5 times Danish Speedway Champion, 3-time Danish Under-21 Speedway Champion, 2 times Danish Long Track Champion, 2 times Czech Golden Helmet winner, 2 times Intercontinental Speedway Champion, Nordic Speedway Champion, 2 times Golden Hammer winner, and I'm going on for another 37. Here we go. 3 times Danish Gold Bar Champion, 3 times Midland Riders Speedway Champion, Blue Rimband winner, 2nd City Trophy winner, 7 times World Team Cup winner with Denmark, 5 times World Pairs Champion with Denmark, 2 times British League Champion with Cradley Heathens, 8 times British League Knockout Cup winner with Cradley, a Midland Cup winner, and 10 amazing years with the famous Cradley Heathens from 79 to 89. Can only be the mega legend himself, Mr. Erik Gundersen.
Ali.
Sorry to keep you with that announcement.
Thank you so much for having me on, and thank you so much for the intro. That was fantastic. I've forgotten all the titles.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that actually nice to hear all that again?
It was indeed. It was indeed. It's it's wild, really, when you list them up like that. Yeah, it Amazing. Is.
Absolute privilege and an honor to speak to you, Erik, to meet you tonight. We did have a little chat off air earlier on, just to check this was all working. And that was amazing just to see you on screen. Wow, Erik Gundersen, amazing. Really chuffed. So happy. I know the fans are going to be loving this, but I'm just all happy on my Oh, crazy. Right, Erik, what I'll do is I'll start you off with a question. I can see people already writing loads of comments already, saying Cradley legend. They're absolutely looking forward to this. Simply the best. The legend, Erik. Hi, Erik. It's all going on already. So I'll ask you a question anyway. Yeah. How did you get into Speedway, Erik? And what was your earliest memory of the sport? And what bike did you start on? Can you remember?
Wow. Well, I got the interest back in '71 when Ollie won his first world title up at Gothenburg, Ullevi. Yeah. And that was on Sunday night in the sport news on Danish TV. There was only one channel at that time. And I was about, 11 years old. And I got really interested in that. There was a track not far from where I grew up, Korsgrove it was called, and as a kid I used to pedal it out there and watched Ollie, Ivan, Barry Briggs and all the big stars at that era doing on. It was a kind of a long track, and then in the years after Ollie won that title, we had introduced the 50cc Speedway here in Denmark, which I was a part of in 74 and 75 before I moved up on the 500 2-valve Jawas in 76 at the local club. So that was my first, I was one of so many hundreds of kids that wanted to follow Ollie in his footsteps, maybe have a career in Speedway, and that's where the adventure all started.
Amazing. What riders did you look up to and idolize when you were young? Then obviously you've mentioned Ollie, and did you ever obviously get to race any of your heroes? Was Ollie the?
The first time I raced Ollie was in 78 in the Danish Championship seniors here, and I didn't know Ollie at all at that time, but it was very special, of course, to be pushed out and be behind the tapes with your sort of child hero, looking across and thinking, "Wow, there he is," and that sort of experience I had so many times. Of course, when I moved over to England in '79, where all my other heroes were at the time, starting off for Crazy, it was fantastic.
Yeah, so it was an amazing time to come over. What was that like when you first come over to the UK? Was that was it a culture shock a bit, or what was that like?
I was just turned 18 and then moving across, taking the ferry across from Ashby, where I grew up just outside of Ashby on a little sort of a little farm where we did vegetables and stuff and flowers, and my dad was a gardener, and they sort of, my mom and dad came down to the harbour and waved goodbye, and it was like an adventure that nobody knew how was I going to fare. You know, I couldn't speak a word of English really, only from what we learned at school, and coming across, landing at Harwich, driving up to the Midlands was unreal, and the whole sort of culture was different. There were so many things that was different. The tracks, everything was different. We raced at night. I was not used to riding under floodlights and red shale and so many different things that was. I remember when I moved into a little flat with Christian Presbro, who got me over to Cradley, and we used to live in a little flat above some shops on Dean's Road, not far from Monmore Green Stadium actually, and like we had like 40 minutes drive down to Dudleywood, Cradley, and sort of living there, and it took me weeks to sort of adapt to the style, but then all of a sudden it just grew on me. I loved the whole of it, the atmosphere, the people, the kindness that I met with the fans, and I was not used to fans. I had to learn to write autographs and stuff like that.
Did you practice?
and it was like they took me in like one of their own at Dudleywood, and the people there in the Black Country for me was they were amazing. What they did for me was just unreal, and I never sort of. I think it took me over a year before I sort of. I was thinking about. I was paid to do this. It wasn't much, but I would do it for nothing. It was like I never thought about money in the game, although it was professional speedway. But just doing it, riding against all my heroes, and in that atmosphere was. It's as we're speaking now, I can feel it. You know, I can smell it. The smell entering the stadium, the people, the faces, everything, the pork sarnies, the scratchings, and talking to you about how are you, and been you all right, our kid, you know, and all this, you all right, bap, and all that, and I was picking up some of the black country accent, and they started calling me the black country Dane, which I thought was absolutely fantastic. But the people and the kindness that I met in England, also at the away tracks, there was amazing. And I sort of got an insight into what English people were like, and to meet that warmth and everything that took me through all the years that I was in England was amazing to experience. And that's one thing I would do it all over again if I could. I would take the ferry tomorrow to come across. I really do miss it all, and I'm sure we all do.
Yeah. We've got plenty of pictures downloaded tonight for us to reminisce over at some point tonight as well, so that'd be amazing. I think there's going to be a lot of memories flying around. Oh, there's the mug.
There's the mug.
Cradley Heavens muglet. There's going to be plenty of
and actually, there's pictures on the back of that, Lee.
What's that? Yeah, faces as well.
Yeah. This is one.
Who's on there? Who's on there, Eric?
Right, Ben Rasmussen. There's Phil Collins. There's Bruce Bell, David Shields, John McNeil, Alan Graham, and myself.
Beautiful.
It was a good team, man.
Very good team. You had a lot of good teams there, that's for sure.
And the coffee tastes even better out of a crate.
I love it. Right, so there's put Lane Bradley put the Great Dane. Hello, Lee and Eric. Lawrence Rogers put the Wonder Gunder, great person and friend. There he goes. Look.
Yeah, hi Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence was a good friend. Oh, he's a good friend.
Oh, we've got an actual Wolves fan here by the looks of it, but they got a question. David Rowley's put, hiya, Eric. Hope you're okay. Who was your Speedway hero when you started riding, which you've just mentioned a bit? And who was your favourite Cradley teammate? Oh, that's going to be hard.
Favourite teammate of Cradley, they all were in all the years, because we had a team spirit which was the best. I feel we were all helping each other and looking after each other, and we had the backing of each other. But I would say a fantastic teammate, Simon Wick, rest in peace, my friend. Simon Cross, Phil Collins, Alan Graham, and obviously the Danish riders, Janno Pedersen and Peter Ron, and Jan Jacobsen, who's not with us anymore either, and all the friends that you make through that, they were all fantastic teammates, and I could go out and team ride with any of them. We would look for each other. We would get each other geared up for each race. Are you going to take the inside? I'll cover the outside, and blah blah blah. And I think that's what made the difference in Cradley having the success that we had in those years, because we were sort of 7 teammates. We were not 7 individuals. We were riding for the team and winning for the team and losing together as well. So that's what made the difference. Yeah.
And obviously you won a couple of British League titles with them, and obviously I just seen as well about it was 8 knockout cups. Like, wow.
Yeah, it was. But again, it was like each team, each year the teams were put together, of course, by the team manager first, under Dan McCormick and Bob Wasley, and then Pete Adams came in, and later Colin Pratt. And another thing was, with both Pete and Colin, I felt they took you, sort of being the captain of the team, they took you in on who should we approach and how should we put the team together to be sure that we had that team spirit, which was so important, and that carried us through to all the different medals that we did win in those years. It was, and like Cradley at the time when I came over in '79, was sort of the wooden spoons of the league, and they were not used to winning anything. And then Dan McCormick did that major signing of Bruce Penhall and Bobby Schwartz, and it all took on from there. It was absolutely fantastic.
Talking about that, what was Bruce Penhall like then, Eric? How did you get on well with Bruce Penhall? What was that like riding with him?
He was very flamboyant, and his riding style was sort of riding in the dirt, different lines, keeping the wheels in line, and I was sort of trying to adopt a combination of the old classic Speedway style and myself being kind of small. I could get around on the bike differently and adapting different riding styles. And Bruce was one that I looked to so much, and you could see also the balance involved from some of the other American riders that came to England. They were used to riding on the smaller track with a lot of dirt on, and I think Speedway came into a new era in the 80s with different riding styles. The old conservative riding style that you saw Ollie and Ivan hooking up on the inside and covering sort of half track on the slick stuff, and then we started seeing more riders taking the outer lines and making maybe Speedway more spectacular to watch as well, which I'm happy to have been a part of that era. Yeah.
If you could like set a track up for yourself, Eric, like say for instance, like you were Dudley Wood, how would you like the track to be set up for you personally?
Depending on what sort of kind of bike you would set up to it, but I would like to be fairly grippy, not too grippy. I know that like Phil Collins and Simon Cross, they loved it when it was rough and wiggy as well.
Yeah,
I didn't ride it very well when it was too bumpy and rough, and them coming from the grass track style they collect. I mean, when you saw Phil Collins hooking the dirt and just racing, it was fantastic. Head down and bum up and fall. And I could just sort of blink my eyes there. I can't do that. Didn't have maybe not enough strength in, or maybe also the what do you say? I didn't feel comfortable. So I would prepare the track being on the slick side with a nice top dressing, just to produce some nice dirt later on. That's what I would do.
Oh, brilliant! And look, the missus just produced just through the door a lovely little gin there from.
There, you're lucky there.
I'll toast the Wonder Gunder all day long.
to
Erik Gundersen, thank you very much.
I'll be here.
Absolute pleasure.
Pleasure being on.
Awesome. Right, I got actually, I was another thing I was going to mention was I was just reading about that as well, and I've seen the DVD because obviously I was quite young then, about 4 or 5. But the Wembley, the one-off world final at Wembley, the one that Bruce won, you were part of that meeting, and I've watched the DVD and the atmosphere. Wow, unbelievable! Like 90,000+ at Wembley, the old Wembley.
Yeah, it was like I was lucky to watch one final before at Wembley in '78 when Ollie he won his title. And I remember sitting up on the 64th stand or something and looking at that drama down there with 16 riders and the light and the atmosphere was electric in there. And I was just sitting there thinking, if I could just once in my life try to be among those 16 riders, no matter where I finished, that would be fantastic. And to achieve that in '81 and being part of that was unreal. I remember sitting in the changing rooms, in the famous changing rooms there. And there was the riders' briefing with the referee and the clerk of the course walked in, and we were handed the race jacket. I remember sitting on the benches there, and Ollie came in, and I said hi to Ollie, and he never said hi back. And I thought, what's the matter with him? And he was completely different.
Yeah, in the zone,
mode. And I was just sitting there on the bench, and they handed out the race jacket with the gold. What do you call it?
Trim, like
trim on, and that was like a boy child dream that I had to have with that on. And I never heard what the referee said or the clerk of the court. I just sat there looking at this race number 10, and I took it on and put it on, and I walked out so proud. And I got out of the pits in the tunnel there, and I said to my brother Preben and the mechanics there, if there's any people in yet, and Preben said, you go up and have a look. And I walked up with my steel shoe on and everything. I just walked up and looked out on the track, and the stadium was just starting to fill up. And I was just met by this roar, like rah, and it was all the Rugby supporters. They sat up behind, and I can't remember, but I think it was over 60 coaches that went down from Crady to support Bruce and myself. So that reception just it frightened me. And it's funny you mention it, Lee, because not long ago I was watching it from that DVD as well.
Mm-hmm.
If you sort of notice our faces on a parade, and I could just see, I needed to go to the toilet all the time because I was so nervous. And it's frightening, really. You look out and see so many people, and it was one of them things that I knew that.
Oh, look at that! Is that the original one? Wow!
There it is. Thank you.
Wow, that was perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much.
There it is.
Wow, there it is. Wow.
And like that was funny, Helen. Thank you.
Yeah, that was very good.
and like it was one of them things that on the night as well, you could actually hear the crowd when you were on the bike, which I thought was unreal. Going around with a noise level over like 112 dB, and you could still hear people. Unreal, absolutely.
And not only that, you went on to actually break the track record. Is that right? That was right, wasn't it?
That's right. And
that still stood then, didn't it?
Yeah, but like I was on a bike prepared by Eddie Bull, who became my tuner, and Bruce Penholz, and Eddie did an unbelievable job to get those Westlake's to fly around like they did, and both Bruce's and mine. Also, in the weeks leading up to the Wembley final, both Bruce and myself was flying. Eddie had him completely tuned in to suit the Wembley track, because the Wembley track was very similar to Cradley in shape and everything, and I think also with the grip and the dirt that night, it just suited me, and I went out and broke the track record. And to stand. When I got off the bike and took my helmet off, and I turned around and looked, just imagine what it was like to look in, and you see that big scoreboard, which was LED in that time. It was normal bulbs. Yeah. And Erik Gundersen did my new track record. I was very proud. Very, very proud. And it's one track record that never will be broken, because we'll never have a world final at Wembley again. So that's one I'll keep.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
Let's hope one will be back in.
So you were actually, in the day, you were actually a contender that year. Obviously, I don't know how you were thinking about it going into the meeting, but you obviously started like that. You were a contender. You were very fast, and
I was going pretty good all year, but I never thought of that. I mean, nobody said to me, I needed somebody to be behind me, really coaching in that direction, because I never believed in myself in that way. I was just happy to be there. And I think that, like after, when you think about it, in one race where I had a machine failure, and I ended up on 11 points and equal fourth with Kenny Carter. And had I not had that, I could have been in a run with my teammate Bruce Penholz. And I remember Penholz was sort of saying to Eddie at the time, "You've made a quicker engine for Eric. He's flying around here." And Eddie said, "Now you're on the same equipment, boys." And it could have been a showdown. I remember also in the race with Penholz, because he was hooking up on the lines and he was so quick. But I was catching him actually, and had I trapped on him, I was nervous, brand nervous when I went to the meeting, and to finish up with 11 points and could have been on 14 with the nerves that I had there. It was pretty awesome actually. Yeah.
Because you weren't you leading when you broke down as well?
I was leading. Yeah, it was, if I can say, it was my easiest race against Egon Miller, and I think it was or Jerry Stay. It was my easiest race, if I could say.
Program right, yeah.
And I was far ahead, and down. I had to break down my carburetor, ran out of methanol, and we've been experimenting with with the fuel system on that, and at Swindon at meetings before, and he was flying there, but it sucked it empty in the bulb, and but I was sort of when I came in the pits afterwards, because Dave Jessup had a breakdown in front of me while he was leading me when that happened, and I nearly ran in the fence when I passed him when he broke down coming into the first corner. I was coming there at about 70-80 miles an hour and turning just between him and the fence. I was really lucky not to have plowed into the fence, but he was unlucky. He had a similar breakdown like I had, and like poor Dave Jessup, he had a lot of them in the big finals and stuff.
Yeah, it's a shame. Yeah, he did. Yeah, but very unlucky with that. Yeah,
you can't afford to have breakdowns like that in the one finals. So everything's got to be perfect on the night.
What do you think about the GP system? Obviously, you were super consistent anyway, and always at the top in everything you did. It would have definitely have suited you as well in the GP system as well.
Yeah, I would have liked to have been a part of that. I was probably in the World Championship where we had to go through the Danish round and into the Nordic and then into the Intercontinental final to qualify into the one-off final. And I think when you look at my sort of form throughout the year, I was sort of peaking at the right times coming into those meetings when I learned to sort of organize myself to peak like that. And obviously Ollie came in on that in '84 to help me. We can get back to that to answer the question. I would have really liked the GP system because I liked the one-off final because you knew when you went to a one-off final, both the fans and everybody, it was like Christmas evening that one year. Everybody traveled to that, knew when Heat 20 or runoff had been done, everybody went home and they knew we had a new world champion for the year. And I thought that in itself was a fantastic. It gave both the spectators and the participants and everybody involved, mechanics and everything. You had sort of the nerves was out on the outside. You were so set up for that one event. And in the Grand Prix system, you can become world champion by running second and third or even fourth in all the Grand Prix. So that one, the thrill and excitement that's involved in a one-off final, and for all of us and all the fans that are on here also tonight and listening in, to have experienced that, I think we can be happy about that, because that is a feeling that I don't think you will have in the Grand Prix systems. No, maybe in the last one in Poland or whatever it is, and we know that there's maybe 2 or 3 riders that on the night can be crowned world champion. Of course, there's a thrill in that. Of course, there is.
Yeah. It was quite special, that's for sure. Right, I better get into these people's questions. I'm almost forgetting about the fans. These lovely fans have been coming in with loads of comments already. Right, there's no name on this one, but they've put, what were your favourite tracks to ride? So we could start with the British League, I suppose.
Yeah, the favourite tracks was if we sort of the Midland tracks where I sort of learned my trade first off. Like there was Birmingham, Wolverhampton, the little tricky track. There was Blackbird Road, Leicester. I love that place. It was a combination of learning to turn the bikes, riding the lines on different kinds of grip, and also that the sort of the width of the track, and of course also the atmosphere that was surrounded the different tracks. That sort of combined me to say, wow, I love that place. Paris Bar was small and enclosed. There was nice facilities around. It was very there was different things. Wimbledon, I used to love the small track at Wimbledon with the lights on the center green and people in the bars and every track in Hackney, Swindon, of course, Little Eastbourne. I used to love it. It was all different, and like if you came up north, we went to Hull or Halifax, or you went down south to Exeter and Bristol and those places, but it was different dirt and also different people in the way the Yorkshire people, people, it was different, and you sort of met all that combined. I would say that every track that I rode in England was my favorite, because I experienced something new every time, and I learned from that, both on the track and off the track, and which was a gift in many ways. Yeah.
Awesome. Sounds like you really enjoyed the British riding in general.
I loved it. I loved every minute of it.
Comes across. It's brilliant. The passion is lovely. It's really nice. You're definitely an adopted Brit, as it were, as well. That's for sure, Eric. I got Stephen Zetterwall, because you rode in obviously Sweden as well.
Yeah.
What was your memories of riding in Sweden?
It was fantastic. I had the possibility to go to Norrköping in '88, and I drove for the Wolves up there, and to ride in the Swedish leagues was a new experience for me as well, and all the traveling that was involved, flying out every week to Sweden via Copenhagen, and getting all the logistics done with the bikes and mechanics out of Denmark and back into the British League. It was hard, but to be organized, you could do it all. But and it was a little bit like coming home, because obviously Sweden is Scandinavia and very similar in many ways to Denmark. But it was also nice to fly back on the Wednesday mornings back into Heathrow or Birmingham or Manchester or wherever. It was fantastic.
Right, I've got Nick Sawyer on Facebook. He's put, "Hi Eric, were the Wolves and Cradley derbies special? Did you know how the fans felt about them?" I'm sure you did.
I didn't know about that. And that's another funny thing, because living close to Monmouth Green, it was just down the road from me, and every Monday night, when I had my race meeting evenings off, I would go to Monmouth Green and watch the Wolverhampton team, and I would go in the pits and talk to the riders. I would go up in the barn. I would chat to the supporters up there, and they sort of had a hate-love relationship kind of stuff. And I could feel that. That the Cradley supporters had always been sort of booed at, and vice versa, and that was kind of a thrill in many ways. There were never ever any nasty incidents. I never experienced that, but I liked the banter that there was. They were shouting at each other, and like when Cradley started to be sort of competing, and we could go to Monmouth Green and beat the Wolves there. It was fantastic. And we could still, after the meeting, we could after we packed up, we could drive around and go up into the barn, have a pint, and chat to people, and there was never any nasty incidents whatsoever. And it was that interactive thing that you had with the supporters, on if it was Cradley or Wolverhampton for that matter. I was always felt welcome at any stadiums, but like I said, I was at Wolverhampton every Monday night watching. Awesome
memories. I've got a former rider here, Sean Tacey. I remember Sean Tacey. He's put, "Never met the man, but at school I decorated my school books with photos of Eric. Him and John Cowboy Cook is the reason I followed my dreams to do that job. Both very different characters in many ways, but my heroes as a young kid before my teens."
Thank you, Sean.
I love that, Sean. Got Martin Woodhead. He's put, "Hi Eric, your bikes and leathers for me were always fantastic designs. Did you come up with all the designs yourself?"
Yes, I did. And at the time when I came over, it was sort of Speedway started to be more sort of popular in the way of color and color on the leathers and designs, and all the Americans brought in a lot of spectacular color designs of leathers and stuff. And for me, doing the bikes with my mechanics, and we were talking about what could we do, this, that, and the other, both mostly on the mechanical and technical side, which I was heavily involved in myself. And I loved playing with the different color schemes and adapting sort of some designs that I would maybe get an idea of, seen in a magazine or whatever, and then I would come up with it myself and sit and draw my leathers before I would send it off to have them done. So it's trying to get both the leathers and the bikes look similar. So it was sort of one unit in one way. And I also in the years with Simon Wick, him and me, we had for years many different competitions going on, both technically and mechanically, and like Wiki was years and years ahead of everybody else in trying to bring the sport more colorful and more professional in many ways. He was absolutely fantastic in that. And we would have, when he turned up with these bikes in the pits, and we would go straight over and look at each other bikes and what have you done this week to make things better. And it was a competition which was really nice, and it brought, I think, the sport forward in many ways. Also in the way that we would bring in the bikes so professional, clean, everything. There was not any marks on anything. You know, I was 100% hysterical on being, everything had to be clean, and it cost a lot of hours in the workshops doing it all. So it's a long answer on that one.
Here's one there, look.
Yeah, there's one there. And that was another thing. I had that smile put on my right bum there because they called me Smiling Gunder, and I thought I'll adapt that into my design. So I put that little smile on, and there was something for the other riders behind me to look at when I was going around.
Like that.
Yeah, so,
exactly that.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Follow my smile.
Exactly that. Right, we've got someone on YouTube put, "Hi Eric, you had your first workshop on Dean's Road," which I think you mentioned. Where did you move to after that?
We moved up to Tamworth. I was in Dean's Road for 3 years, and fantastic 3 years it was, and that's where I learned everything, both to socialize with the people that lived around there, and there was I have so many memories with Dean's Road. It's unreal. But we moved up to Tamworth, where we hired or rented a house before I was able to get enough money together to actually buy a house in 86, 87, I think it was, in Austria, just not far from Eddie and Betsy and Carrie in Tamworth. Eddie had his little workshop there, so we were a lot of people, riders that Eddie looked after. We moved up around Tamworth. There was Lance King, and later both Greg and Billy stayed in that area. So Tamworth was a lovely town to move to, and obviously being close to Eddie Bull and his workshop, where I was near enough every day.
I've got a few comments coming in, Eric, saying this was at 7:10. That's how far behind I'm already, half an hour. Someone's put absolute legend right there. There's no name on that one. And another one saying what a legend. So some lovely comments coming in. Got Simon Corbett. He's put, "Did you like riding at Halifax and Exeter? Most others didn't. And Heathens Fanatics saw Eric win at Voyens, Bradford and Pockin, and the long trap in Germany. Great times."
Well, yes, Halifax to me was very narrow, and it had a sort of a mixture of chalk and dirt, black cinder kind of stuff, and it was tough riding on. needed to be trapping pretty good. And I remember one time up at Halifax, I actually rode the track pretty good and liked it. But one time I was off gate 4, and there was one of the home supporters that, because people was leaning sort of over the fence, and you sort of had to look for the green light, which was on the fence a bit further down, and the supporters were leaning out over the fence, and they could actually touch your arm. And I was so close to it, and there was one fan that took what do you call it, a hand light, a flashlight, and and put it in my eyes, like 5 meters. I couldn't see it. So I didn't make the start in that one. But it was like I remember beating Kenny around there. The people didn't like that.
No.
I loved smoking him around there. I did that a couple of times, but he was so fast, and so to beat him around the CA was something special. You're traveling pretty good if you could beat him around there. So Exeter, similar to Halifax, and coming down to Exeter at the time where Ivan was there, narrow track again with all the Czech riders, Wackler and Werner and Dribble and all the Czech boys. They were quick round there, and it took me a couple of visits to suss out that place. But again, it's part of your learning, and I took that. You also had to think at times when you went out to be careful, because it could be pretty hot when you were close to the fences at that time, where it was steel fences and some places there was concrete. So you had to be careful and think about, you also had to ride tomorrow.
When you think in the English League, you can go from, like, say, Exeter and Swindon to an Eastbourne. It's such a different experience. Like, you must have gained a lot of experience from this.
Yeah, but that's why we have always said, and I would say that even today, that you had to ride the British League if you wanted to become world champion, and to be adapted into the British League, and having the learning years which you have in any trade. I don't see riders of today's era being able to ride a speedway track or a speedway bike in the way that we did, because we had to adapt from a small Monmouth Green or Eastbourne or Birmingham Perry Bar, and then go around Swindon and down to Exeter. You had to adapt, and you had to ride the lines different. Now we see them riding flat out on the bigger Polish tracks, and Sweden is similar. They have a different size tracks, but like in Poland, it is flat out tracks. You on the gas full ball for 4 laps, and you don't learn to ride the bike in the same way as those years.
Not much throttle control in them ones.
There's none of that today. It is about the way that the bikes and the engines are set up today. You can hardly ride them with throttle control, but it's different. Speedway has moved in a different way to where it was, and for the bikes and the mechanical, technical side of the sport, there's always improvement year by year, and in these times of years, it's by month and month, and sometimes week by week. We see tuners come up with different ideas how to set it up with different cams and flywheels and carburetors and silencers, what have you. There's so many different things today electronically you can do also with ignition. I know Brian Carger, the Danish rider, he's made a fantastic ignition system that can change just after you gate it out. It's fantastic, and things like that we didn't have in those years. But and like, if I was to compare the speedway of today with the speedway in the English era, going back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, before the laydowns came in. I'm just saying that I'm lucky and happy to be the part of the not being laydowns, because I think the other bikes handle completely differently, and by using the throttle control, you could gain speed in a different way that they do today. It is different, yeah.
Yeah, very different. Even my mum's come on and put Jenny and put great rider and nice man. I believe she was actually at that Wembley final as well in '81 as well. She was there. I've got Nath Mondays put, sad to see Mikael Beck retire at such a young age, but can you see a future Danish world champion coming through the ranks?
Yeah, well, yeah, it is early for Mikael Beck to retire. Like for us in Denmark, what we try and with what we've got and helping out to get younger riders through maybe getting into the Polish league or the Swedish league. And I'll always say to Hans that if we can try and get riders to come into England and ride in the British league and maybe move over there, get away from home and actually live where you need to live and breathe Speedway to become the champion. In and out of Poland, I don't know if that's the right recipe to become a world champion, but we have good young riders coming through. But I also would like to see them maybe moving away from home, the mom and dad, and having the responsibility to get up yourself every day and train physically and mentally, get prepared and working on your bikes mechanically. I know that there's a lot of pressure on and stress around it, but you need to be a complete person in many ways to actually make it right to the top. And if I look at a future Danish world champion, yes, we have got, but I will not sit here and say name, but I think that we are looking at some of the kids that we have in 250 in my 250 class coming into next year, and down in 85cc, I've got one rider that is unbelievable. And if things keeps going like I'm sure, in 6 or 8 years or something like that, we have something very spectacular coming through. Yes.
Wow, sounds very exciting. Sounds good. Are you enjoying all that side of everything, Eric? I know obviously you're involved with all the youth in Denmark and everything. Are you enjoying that role?
I am. I was. I'm so grateful and lucky in the way that when after I had my accident and we moved back to Denmark in '91, I was approached by the Danish Federation, the DMU, and the sports organization called Team Denmark at the time, when they sort of had a national coach job put up. We've never had that before. We had team managers when we go for in the Danish World Championship team, and I was asked to take that on, and it was absolutely fantastic. It kept me in the sport, and I was there for like 10 years. It was at times for me, of course, with the disabilities that I had, and it was hard sometimes to be sort of standing on the other side of the fence, if you know what I mean, and watching that you felt that maybe you could have done it differently or better or whatever. But I got the pleasure out of being involved in both with the riders and mechanics and everybody around the sport, and I was still traveling in the sport, although things was harder for me, but it kept me going and it kept me happy, and I was there for like 10 years before I had to pull the plug there for a while, because I had a couple of operations on my left knee which didn't go very well, and so I was away for 3 years, and then I was approached again, and they wanted me back to be a youth academy controller, and that's what I've been doing ever since, and that is one part of of my life that I absolutely love, to work with the kids. We have 2 different groups. We have obviously Hans up at the top with the elite riders, and then we have another coach, Henrik Müller, that helps both Hans and myself with the youth. And we have 2 groups of 250 riders. There's 11 in one group and 8 in the other one. And it's a lot of work, but it's nice work. I mean, it's nice to be sort of in what you call it, eye height with the kids. I travel around on a little mobility scooter when I'm out, and I'm sort of the same height, and I can look them straight in the eyes, and I can see. In many ways, I see myself sometimes in some of the kids with that glimpse in the eyes, and feeling that they want it so bad. They want to be the new Nicky Pedersen or Leon Madsen or whatever we have got up at the top now, and trying to sort of steer them in the right direction in their early careers, and helping both them and their parents and everybody around it, and hoping to send them through the system we have here in Denmark, and also to be able to travel with them for the European Championship and the World Championship, to come out and meet what other nations and countries do for their youth part, and all different managers that I meet from the different countries, and we sort of interact and tell each other different things, and what are you doing, and how often do you do this, and how do you train, and blah blah blah, but you always must remember it's kids that you work with, and it's it is a wonderful job, and I've been doing it now for, I think we were talking the other day, we had a meeting with the DMU, and Hans and I we were talking about, I've been employed by the Danish Federation for, I think it's 28 years in all, so it's a long time. I've been there, and I'll hopefully be able to do it for many more years to come. It's I don't think I would like to do anything else, really.
I got a nice one there. Look.
Yes, that's with the young kids. We have Frederik Jacobsen there, and Sam and Jason Jørgensen, and young Patrick, and I think this is from a test match we won in Sweden, the 85cc, and great memories there. And it's like every year, Lee, I'm able to send new kids through the system up to either 250 or 500, and we have sort of 2-3 riders that you can keep working on, and you could maybe see as future champs. Yeah,
it's a very cool thing that you're doing, and what an experience for these guys, having such a legend to look after them as well is amazing. Well, I'm sure
it is. Me with the kids, and of course Hans with the elite, and we work closely together and get on really well. On we're not always. What are you saying? We can have different arguments on how we think things should be done.
Opinions,
different opinions, yes,
and
we have that, and that's taken it back to when we were rivals as well. So it's so funny because we are different in our ways and approaches, both to the sport and in general, but we get on really well with it, because we both want the kids to go, or the riders to go in the right direction. There's just different recipes. I have my recipe, and Hans has his ideas, and if we can sort of put that in a mixture bowl and get the best out of it, and that's what I think we are doing at the moment. And then with young Henrik Müller helping out in between us, and he can be sort of he can take the tempers a little bit out of both of us when we get too fired up.
A referee, is he?
I think he just takes the
sting out of it.
Sting out of it when it gets too hot. It does that sometimes, and that's I mean, you got to have that sort of fire to move on. Yeah,
I love that. Still burns in Erik Gundersen and Hans Nielsen. Wow,
it does very much so, and I think Yeah.
Love that. Love that. I've got Rod Hart here. Has put, "We miss you, Eric. Great man."
Miss you all.
I've got a Polish man here, Lucas Malaka. I pronounce that. Hi, Eric. What do you think about Marcus Berkamos? Is that right?
Yeah.
Do you think he should get experience on British tracks and start in British League?
I think he's a good he's a very good rider and a big talent, and I think doesn't so much matter if he whatever experience in any leagues he approaches. I think he needs to sort of get maybe get away from, like I said before, his parents and move over into different atmospheres, and I think an experience for him would be to move to England and develop into a complete rider, both on and off the track. And I'm sure we're going to hear a lot about him in the future if he can get his system in order. Yeah.
Because you think, obviously, you were 18, you said, when you come over to the English leagues. It sort of make you obviously grow up quicker into a man as well, obviously having to experience that and try to learn in the deep end, obviously, at the end of the day.
I mean, you are just a kid at 18 when you come across and unexperienced in many ways, and how to adapt and approach and have the respect also to what you're doing. You always, I think, coming across to Dan McCormick and first and then Pete Adams, they guide you in the right direction, and you have to adapt into the sport with the respect, both on and off the track, because you need to be, like I said before, a complete person to achieve the ultimate goal if you want to become a world champion, and they were definitely the fantastic people to guide you in that direction, and that's what the younger riders need. You need to have respect. You need to listen, and you need to adapt to whatever country you come to. You need to learn the language, and you need to learn how things are run, and not argue. You just go out and do your job, and let your result count on the track. Then everything will come on its own.
All right, I've got a couple of people here on YouTube reminiscing about some memories. I got Mr. Rose Photo on YouTube's put, "Hello, Eric. Great seeing you around Dudley Wood. Best team ever. Remember winning the league in '83 against Ipswich. 4 world finalists that year."
Yeah, '83 winning the league was a great memory. We had a fantastic team at the time, and everything. We worked hard, and Pete Adams put everything right, and yes, it was to win the league is something really special, and even being and especially being captain of the side was an honor. That I remember we were being taken around down Dudley town on an open bus into Cradley. It was. I will never ever forget that, with all the people cheering around, and we were up there drinking champagne with the trophies and having a good time. It was fantastic. It was such a thrill.
Definitely a special set of fans at Cradley for sure, wasn't it?
Very much so.
Yeah, I've got another memory here. Mark Beckett has put, "Loved the matches against Oxford, Dudley Wood, full to the rafters, fantastic nights."
Yeah, again, the matches against Oxford, of course, with Hans and Simon Wick that moved to Oxford from Cradley because of the averages and what have you. And there was an electric atmosphere both at Dudley Wood and Sandy Lane, similar to the Wolverhampton Cradley matches. And coming down to Oxford, it was so tense. Small track as well. You need to be traveling pretty good to be able to beat Hans around there. I was lucky enough to beat him a couple of times, but he was so fast, and but I mean he couldn't win the matches on his own. So most of the times I think we nipped him at Sandy Lane, even though. But yeah, it was special. It was
Yeah.
same like with Coventry in the days just before Ollie retired there with Tommy Knudsen and Mitch Shearer and Alf Busk and all and Gary Guglielmi and great Coventry matches was it was fierce. It was and many times it was on ITV with Gary Newborn and
Yeah.
it was alive in a way that
Special era, yeah.
yeah, that it was alive in a way that you don't see it today like that. But and that's why I'm saying also just to have been a part of it, I feel so privileged and lucky.
Blessed, yeah, very cool.
Well,
Lucas has mentioned a good one that we did ask Hans this as well about the last one he's put. What do you think about the regulations about the riders that obviously rode in the Polish Extraliga can start only in one other league abroad apart from Poland? What's best regards to you both from Poland? What's your thoughts about that, Eric?
Lucas, I can say that I feel it's a shame because the riders do need to ride more than just one meeting a week. Speedway is not like football or handball, any other sport. Yeah, they can easily adapt to riding in Cheers League. They can easily adapt to riding in both in the British League, the Swedish League, and the Danish or German League, or the French League, which are coming on. And I think it's very hard of Poland to actually lock the riders in the way here, and also for the other clubs and leagues in other countries. And I feel that in the years that Poland and Polish Speedway was struggling, the Western riders came out, and the Western riders was also a part of Poland to bring Poland to where they are today. So I think it's a bit of a cold bucket of water that they throw in the heads of other countries, and to stamp down and say you can only ride in one league, to me is so harsh to do that. I know they're in the full rights. Obviously, there's been you look into the European free movement and are working in different countries and what have you, but they're in the rights to do it, and I think they should maybe allow two leagues for the riders that wants to ride in the extra league, and then in second or first or second division maybe ride both in England, Sweden, Denmark, and East. The riders only becomes better and better by doing it, and I think to be locked into just one country and in one league doesn't necessarily make you a better rider. I think quite the opposite. You need to experience what we've just been talking about, riding all the different tracks there are in the world. So it's hard, and I could put it in a way. I think Poland and the PZM, it's not fair what they're doing. It's definitely not fair on the riders, and it's not fair on the other countries and other league systems that are running. It's it's not the right way to go forward with the sport by doing it.
No, it's going to cause some problems for other leagues for sure, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the long term. Right, I've got Paul Mitchell here on Facebook. He's put, "Hi Eric, I remember you phoning me when I broke my neck in 1993 at Reading, and I was lying in the Stoke Mandeville. I will never forget that, and much appreciated. Hope you're staying safe."
Oh, yeah,
that's really nice.
Yeah, that's really nice. Thanks, Paul.
Very nice. I've also got a hi. There's no name on it, but he's obviously said as well, so I'm glad he put the name. "Hi Eric from Vermont, Raymond."
Yes, hi.
I've got Steve Powell. He's put, "Hi Eric, great to see you. I have a replica of your Cradley 83 race jacket, and I put 3 times world champion on it. You are a true icon and a great friend on Facebook as well." I've got Simon Davis. "Without a shadow of a doubt, Eric has to be the most stylish rider to ever grace a Speedway bike. Thanks for so many amazing memories, Eric, and a true gent as well."
Thank you so much, John. Thank you.
I've got Peter and Dorothy Bowles on YouTube. "Check out the eBay postcard Plymouth Wembley mascots, 1935.
We better check that.
We better check that. Gareth Evans has put, what a nice chap. Nervo63. Hi, Eric. Greetings from Hull. I would like to ask Eric if during those high-tension runoffs for world titles, etc., was he one of the riders who visualized himself making the gate and winning? It's interesting.
Oh, yeah, there's so many things going into to like a runoff, being in a final or any runoff, because if you're in a runoff, it could either matter you're qualified for a round in the World Championship or you are for a rostrum place. And I think head-to-head battles like that, it was not something that I sort of visualized. And first off, I got to learn that. Ollie actually learned me to visualize and seeing myself in different situations on a bike. He did that back in '84 before the Gothenburg World Final. So I think it was a matter of when we were in the pits and we were looking at each other. The first runoff for the World Championship was in '85 at Bradford with Sam and Hans and myself, and looking at the others, sort of feeling that tension before you were pushed off and going out, and after you'd sort of through the draw been placed on whatever start position, and I was in '85 on the outside and on a very slick patch, and I just about I made the jump from gate 4 and got across and locked both Sam and Hans down, and it was 4 laps winning from there on. So there is a lot of tension around it, and the same was in '88 at Voyage when Hans and I was head to head for winning an equal Ollie's 3 titles, and that was something completely special. The '88 runoff, and I had before the final thought that Hans and myself could meet in a runoff if one of us beat each other in the meeting itself or got beaten by another, and I was lucky to beat Hans in the meeting itself, and then I made the start in heat 20 and leading coming out of the second corner and thinking, I don't know if I was thinking that, but knowing that it was a 15 maximum coming up on world champion, and then little Jano Pedersen flew around me like a little rocket, and I couldn't catch for 4 laps, and then that made Hans and myself on 14, and in the runoff we went. That was fantastic, absolutely electrifying going into that. Remember being when we were called across in the pits to do the toss for gate positions, and the clerk of the course they tossed the coin, and I won the toss, and the clerk of the course said, "So what are you taking, Eric?" And I said, "1 moment," and I walked away, and I was not allowed to do that. And Hans was stood there with his manager and his mechanics around him, and I walked over, and there was a lot of people standing, and they never experienced and seen that before. I don't think I was allowed to do it in according to the rule book. I don't know, but I walked away, and I walked over to my mechanic, and I said to, I knew like my brother Preben, and I said to him, put 55 on. Take 2 teeth off and take 1 link out of the back chain and put the back wheel forward a couple of centimeters and go 2 teeth down, and then I'll take gate 4. And Preben, he looked at me and he said, "Gate 4," and I says, "Yes, I'll make it from gate 4 and go around him and hit the dirt," because it had started to drizzle then. So I thought that was going to be my game plan here to. And when I walked over, I got called over again, and they said, "You got to make a decision now, Eric." I said, "Hang on, I'm coming across." So, and when I sort of stood there in front of Hans and the other people, and I said, and the clerk of course said, "So what are you taking?" I said, "I'll take gate 4." And I'll never forget the smile that I saw on Hans's face and on his people, mechanics, because they thought I was crazy taking gate 4 with the weather coming across as it was, and. So I just walked across to my bikes and got myself ready and walked out, and getting up to the start and like being the first one-off final that we had in Denmark at Vojens with all the Danish people on our home track as it was.
Yep.
Full stadium. It was electrifying, and it was a showdown. Hansen and myself. It was unreal.
Wow.
And I made the start and got across on Hansen and smoked him around the heel, up completely on the first corner and stood still. And I was my game plan worked. I hit that bit that was, and I could then ride a perfect 4 laps, and that was it.
Rest is history.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, I've got a nice one here. This has come up on there. It's Mr. Dennis Sigalos.
Oh.
Great, another fantastic rider. He's put, hey, Eric, nice to see you on the show. Looking good, man. Never forget the great racing we had. You are such a talent to the Speedway world. Loved the time we had as friends and competitors we were. I remember you had the first Walkman that I ever saw. You put on a demo tape with jets coming over, and I could not believe the sound that it put out. After that, I went out and got one. Thanks for the years of friendship and good times. You are one of my heroes of the time, and you still amaze me. Wow, that's nice.
Oh, it's really nice.
That's really cool.
I had so many good races with Dennis Sigalas, and he's a gentleman, overall gentleman in so many ways. Many tough races we had down at Foxhall Heath at Ipswich, and he was such a safe rider, and you could go inside him or you could go around him, or he would never ever shut the door on you. Dennis would always appreciate a good race, and I got on so good with him, and he was like such a nice Californian boy as well, and riding there with that Sony Walkman that I was the first that he ever. and normally the Americans they have everything before we have.
Yeah.
And as he writes that, I can remember it now. There was like a demo tape that sounded like a jet, and it was, when you got that in the ear, it was fantastic. And just think about what has happened since with everything. It's unbelievable. But Dennis, he's a friend for life as well, across the pond. Yeah.
Yeah, hope to get him on at some point. It'd be really cool. But I always ask this question: what is your favorite Kelly Moran story?
How many hours? Oh,
yeah.
Your favorite Kelly Moran story? Kelly was the character that an Italian on a speedway bike, like we all know, that was unbelievable. I remember him especially at Eastbourne, to get around that little tricky track as it was. He would miss the start completely, and then he would go inside, outside, and he would wheel it down the back straight, and turning the bike on one back wheel and hang it on the side of it. And as soon as he got off the bike in the pitch, he would light up a cigarette. He would always have a cigarette in his mouth, and he would always come over. He was friends with everybody. I don't think Kelly never thought of or was thinking that it was competition out there. It was just we were all having a good time. It was all a matter of having a good time, both on and off the track. And Kelly was one character that I will never forget. He brought a lot of smile, a lot of enjoyment into the sport as a little showman, both on and off the track, which some of us, we smiled, and at times we felt sad for him in many ways. But Kelly was Kelly, and like there was one time when we were going down from Birmingham, I think it was, to down to where Bobby and Bruce lived at the farmhouse there, and I was in the same car with Kelly, and he pulled the handbrake. All of a sudden, he was just a passenger in the seat next to him, and he pulled the handbrake, and the bike was just the car was just swooping around. We were lucky not to go around on the motorway, and you had to have your eyes open when you had Kelly in the car. He took everything. He would be all
Unpredictable. Yeah.
But he was never intending to harm anybody in the way. But Kelly was Kelly, and he lived his life in the fast lane, and he was one character that the sport loved to have as well. Yes.
Very nice. I've got no name on this one, but it's put, "Hi Eric, my Erik Gundersen 1988 model is almost complete. What was the reason behind the JT face mask that year? And also, what was your favorite race jacket?"
The reason behind the face mask was that there was injuries coming out both from motocross and with a full face helmet, and then there was the front you could put on the helmet with like you have on the picture you see there, which was if you had a crash it could crack and it could cut you really bad, and so there was people was writing to me and or telling me that using the normal face mask, that if you did have a crash and it was pressed against your chin and that you wouldn't break your nose and you wouldn't get caught. And so I experimented with that, and I did see a lot of motocross riders as well started using the face mask instead of the full face helmets at that time. But of course when the better helmets came in and it was a complete helmet like it and lighter as some of the first full face helmets were, I could see it was a lot better as well. But that was the reason. And what was the best design of the race jacket ever? If he means in Cradley, I think the 83 race jacket, and even like the first one we had in '79, I really liked that with the Cradley hammer and the devil ones. It was
iconic, yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool. Right, I've got Neil Sandys has put, "Hi Eric, do you ever come back to England?"
It's a long time since I've come across, and I'm planning to come next year for the grass track European Championship at Leamington Spa. Last time I was in England was for, I think it must be 6 years ago, and that was for the reunion at Cradley with Nigel Pearson that he arranged. So that was wonderful to meet all the people at a completely sellout event there. I think it was over 300 people, and we brought our daughter Nana over with us, and because she never experienced what I had experienced for so many years, so she got to meet everybody. So that was fantastically, yeah. So, but I wish I could. I'm not very good on traveling on airplanes anymore. I'd rather drive, and it's long. We don't have the ferry to go across from Harwich from Esbjerg no more, and it's a long way the other way around. But I shall be back, as you say. I can't wait to get back. We got so many friends over there, and we got Auntie Rita and friends. You know, we want to visit Eddie Bull, of course, and Carrie and there's just so many that I wish I could spend my holiday and travel around the country, and could that be done watching the British League matches at the same time? I would absolutely love that.
That'd be cool.
Like one place I would like to come to as well is the Bellevue, the new
one, yeah.
The new one I would really like to come up and see that. Manchester's always been special, also with the old Hyde Road Bellevue track, which I used to love that place, and the people there as well. Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, I could see Erik Gundersen on tour in the UK. Would be lovely. Right, we've got Gareth Edwards put, "What change in riding, bike setup or training style does he remember that changed him and gave him the confidence that he could win?"
I think it's a combination, Gareth, of what I've been saying earlier about Indians. You have a good relationship with the tuner. You get good feedback to what you actually experience when you do ride the track on the bike on the track. Do you get the grip coming out of the corner? What does it feel like out of the start and the grip? And also riding styles, depending on what kind of balance do you have. and can you train balance? Yes, you can do that in many ways, and that was something that maybe wasn't done so much in the earlier years. But I started walking the high wire and riding on the monobike and stuff like that, and Chris Morton and myself. Chris was fantastic on the balance as well. So he was on the high wire. I think it was an indoor meeting. We did it together. So and that was one thing as well. With Chris Morton, I used to love the way he approached the sport, both at Bellevue and also when he was riding for England. We had so many great battles, him and me, both at Cradley, of course, at Wood, but at Hyde Road. Him and Peter Collins up there was immaculate to be able to. If you went out and in a league match against the Bellevue and you looked across and you saw Chris Morton on gate 1 and you're on gate 2 yourself, and you looked across the other side, there was Peter Collins. And then maybe Phil Collins or Simon Cross or Simon Wick or Bruce Penn, for that matter. It was fierce. And so if you could beat PC and Morton in the same race up at Hyde Road, you were traveling pretty good.
Yeah, you've done very well. Yeah.
Memories with Chris and Peter.
Awesome. Just spoke to Chris, and that was really interesting as well.
Yeah.
Barney Kennett has put, "Hi Eric, lovely to see you on here. All the best from the Kennett brothers."
Oh, hi Barney. That's really nice. I remember Barney and Gordon and everybody down at Eastbourne at that time. They were really good riders, safe riders as well. Many good tussles and meetings with them. So thank you very much. Say hi back to everybody, please, Barney.
Great memories there. Got Debbie Evans on. She's put, "Hi Lee and Eric. Who was your greatest rival? Love Debbie and Mick Evans. P.S. Do you remember the pineapples I used to bring to you when I was young, 17 years old?"
First of all, Debbie, yes, I do remember the pineapples.
Wow, do you?
Yes, I remember that. Thanks, Debbie. Who was your greatest rival? It was of course in the World Championships, and that it was Hans. But like there were other. I would say Kelvin Tatum later on, and Simon Wick, PC, Chris Morton. There were all the riders you needed to beat to go all the way, and being rivals is not the same as sort of that you don't get on together with them, which we respected each other on the track, and I always looked at also having the respect off the track, which was so important, because you've got to remember every time that the fence is closed behind you, we are entering a kind of a gladiator sport. It can be very, very dangerous out there. So you need to have the respect for each other, to take it to the level that it becomes spectacular to watch. You need to, everybody, we all remember, when you saw different races and you thought, wow, that was fantastic. But that one race was maybe because you were riding on the limit of what is possible without going through the fence and getting in. So it's the thrill and excitement combined with the talent and respect for each other. Because if you didn't have the respect and you ended up in a tussle and going in 80 miles an hour through the fence together, that's not a very good race or good situation to get in. So it's a combination of all those things that makes Speedway what it is.
Got Mark Kent has put, "Eric, have you seen the new Swindon track, and do you think it would have suited you?" I don't know if you've seen that they
I haven't seen that, Mark, and like I said before, that's another place I would love to come, and I used to have many good memories at Blunston. One of my favorite tracks when the old track was watered down like it should be, and wow, what a racer. Coming out of the second corner, it was like that, when you hooked up and it took off, and it was so fast going into the third corner. I can feel it right now. Fantastic. And then you had like Phil Crump after you, and you had to go quick then. Just keep moving. Yeah.
I remember you as a youngster in the 80s, watching you come to Swindon as a young boy. I loved it. It was amazing to see yourself and Hans and then top guys, number ones come in. It was brilliant. Amazing memories. So basically the new track, they've just basically brought in the first corner quite a bit. It's wider, I would say, but they've just brought it in. But the racing's been good. So been very good. Right, we've got Stephen Zet Awards. But how nearly was it that you were given the offer to take over Gorzo? Is that right? As a team manager in Poland this season when they were struggling?
I think, Stephen, that was a rumor that was started off in Poland, and I wasn't actually approached by the promotion on that indirectly, but I do have contact with the people in Gorzo. But to be offered sort of the I think it was a journalist that popped that out in the media, so there's nothing in there. No.
Okay, cool. Let's put that to bed. Got another one here. There's no name on it. They've not registered it, but I've always a huge fan of Eric. I will never forget he gave me his red marigold hat when he came to Ipswich, and I've still got it today.
One of the things that when we had merchandise in those years, with like caps and what have you, I always used to give as much away as I could. Because it was nice to make people happy with that, and we had plenty of caps at home, so it was just a matter of making somebody happy with that. So it was part of being a speedway rider is to interact with the supporters and make them happy, and to go away with a souvenir. I remember myself as a little kid when I had souvenirs from Ollie and Ivan and Barry when I was 12 years old, and that could be a cap or an autograph card and things like that. It's important.
So nice that people still like treasure it now and still reminiscing about it. It's great. Very brilliant. Got one off of YouTube. Mr. Rose photo. Talking of new designs, Eric, was you the first to have the extra cover on the handlebars off the forks for extra sponsors' names? Can't remember anybody doing it before you.
Yes, I was the first to have that made, and I had it made in Denmark with the B&N leathers. B&N and I was working so close together on doing different designs, both on the leathers. And if you remember the first where you had the body collar on, we put the straps over the top here. That was an idea that I got on in my car on the way over to Benny one day. And I said, for an extra advertising, why don't we put a clap over anything? And he thought, what a good idea, we'll do it like this. And we did it straight away. And when I brought that out, everybody in the weeks after had it done, which was great. And also for the handlebar covers, I've got a fly around it, and like with the handlebars and carb covers that was on the bikes, different designs. All it was getting things done like that, and B&M was fantastic, and of course Joe Smitherman in GTS in England was doing it, seats and covers for me as well. All the time developing new things and bringing the sport forward in designs and that. I love that time. Yeah,
I was going to say, it sounded like you enjoyed that side of things as well.
I love
it. Yeah, it's always good. Right, Jason Colthorpe put, if Wolverhampton offered you a massive contract, could you have been tempted?
It's funny because I think I was just my place was Crater Heath and Dudley Wood, and the promotion there. I was looked after well. I was maybe not on the best pay contracts that there were in the country at that time, but it didn't matter. And at one time, mid-80s, the finances struggled in British League Speedway, and I took a pay cut and I stayed put. They were loyal to me, and I thought I'll be loyal to them. And I saw other riders that were at Cradley that were tempted to other clubs by better contracts, and I could see that some of them they might have been paid better, but they were not happy. They were not a part of a team spirit and a success that we did have at that time. So individually thinking, I think if I was just thinking of myself at the time, I could maybe have had a better signing on contract somewhere else. And I would I have been happy? I don't think so, because you can also be a sort of a travel around to different clubs year by year, and you're not a part of a maybe 2 or 3 year plan where your promoter would say, or team manager would say, we will win the league in 1 or 2 years' time. That's what Pete Adams used to say, and he would plan and get everything organized in that direction and get the right riders at the time. So you're a part of that build-up to go out and win in the end, and that's what mattered. Yeah, to me.
So it's almost like a family type of thing, really, down in Cradley for yourself.
That's how I felt. Yeah.
Was you actually ever offered by any other British League clubs to sign for them, or did they just think you were part of the furniture at Cradley?
I was offered, but I was not approached in the way that you're not allowed to be approached.
Yeah.
But I had a whisper in the ear that if you were interested, you could come. I could have come other places, yes, but I think from the bottom of my heart, I turned it away straight away, because I couldn't see myself in another body club. It's funny to sit in, but that's how I felt at the time. Had I left Cradley, I mean, it would have been like leaving your family kind of thing, and go elsewhere just because you maybe paid a few more pounds for your fish and chips. I mean, I don't think the fish and chips would have tasted as nice as
any better.
and that's why I think it matters that you are happy where you are, and you feel, and you have the backing of whatever you're doing out there. And I have had the privilege to to feel people like I did at Cradley, because they were under my skin, the way they were to me, and that's why I think I stayed put and got a testimonial in the end, which was fantastic. Yeah,
it was great, the relationship you had, and very special. So that was brilliant. Got Jeanette Hubbard has put, "Hi Eric, did you have any superstitions connected with your riding?"
Not maybe some. Yeah. There was a couple of things with superstitions going into the changing rooms. I always had to, when I undid my gear bag, which was packed by at the time in the earlier years by Paul Frisbee, my mechanic from Wolverhampton. He lived and his wife Kath, and she packed and I had to, when I undid it and hang my leathers and race jacket up, and I had to the underwear we had under the leathers, the polo neck, the roller neck shirt, and everything had to lay the same place and in the same order, and the boots had to, everything had to be the same week by week, and I had to unpack that myself. So that I was superstitious in that way.
Yeah.
And also when I was pushed off from the pits going onto the track, I had to have a little pat on my bum by that from my mechanic. That was sort of the send off that I had, and the last sort of hand that I felt from my people behind me, and
I like that.
A few times, maybe in the rush of things, and times people forgot, and I just turned around and I would shout at my mechanic, and they would run, "What's the matter? What's the matter? You forgot to give me the pat on the bum," and they did that, and off. So yeah. So I was superstitious in that way.
I like that. I even had that with my dad at Motocross as well. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Martin Woodhead put, "Eric, along with Hans, you almost never missed a start. What was your secret to getting out of the start so well?"
I think the secret was practice, and even more practice, and then get into working with your mechanics on how the clutch worked. I would go down to NAB at the time, and down to Nigel, through Eddie Ball at that time, and Nigel was developing this new clutch, and getting into the clutch plates, how they worked against with the steel plates and alloy plates and the spring pressure that was on. And then you would sort of, by what we talked about, the throttle control and the way you let the clutch out, and did you use your clutch? And I looked at a lot of riders, especially the English riders that was not trapping very good, and coming from a grass track, it didn't matter so much if you missed the trap on the grass track, because you had a second gear, you could pull it, and you could race the bike differently. The start didn't matter so much on that. So I think that by getting into the practice and starts, I would say to myself, if I could, out of the 5 heats, I would race on the night. If I could make 3 good starts, it would make it a lot easier for me. And then if I missed the start in 1 or 2 races, I could maybe work my way through and pass people. I was not the best passer in the world, but when it mattered, I could pass. And like, if I felt after a meeting at Cradley, and I have been beaten because I didn't feel comfortable on the start, I would be down in the morning and practice from 10 till 12, and I would keep doing maybe 30 starts and get the temperature up on the clutch and then feel, is this right? And we would maybe prepare the track wet or deep or slick or and really get into it. And then of course also having Eddie Bull there with the Indians, he could stand there and he could sound and he could see how my Indians worked when I let the clutch out. And of course you've got to have the quick reactions as well. And that's a mixture of getting the right reps on and getting your body in the right sort of position in that split second that the green light comes on and the referee lets the tapes up. It's a combination of many different things that you get into a rhythm, and that rhythm you can practice and practice and practice, and it can come. There is some riders that will never get that sort of rhythm going. I always used to say that's because they didn't work hard enough. If you really want to make starts and become a rider that, and in Speedway, it helps a lot if you can make 4 starts out of 5, and then you're in the winning group, and it's just practice and more practice and keep practice. You'll get there in the end.
Spot on. Good advice. No name on this one, but they put, when you came to Hackney once with Cradley one Friday for a league meeting, can you remember chatting to Hackney's mascot at the time, and you grabbed the throttle of his 250 Westlake? He was warming up at the time. You made a great impression of a young Paul Hurry.
Yeah, I remember that. Loved to come to Hackney, Waterden Road, and like part of London, and it was such a special racetrack as well. And I am coming down there with the likes of Cineplex was there, Bo Peterson, Finn Thompson, and at the time this was at the time with Len Silver, and I rode Hackney pretty well, and I had a lot of guest bookings there, so that could be, I could be there like 3 weeks on the trot on a Friday night. I used to love to come there, and I remember that they had the mascots there, and it was little Paul Hurry, which is still plodding along today, which is nice. So yes, I do remember that.
That's pretty cool. I got Gary O'Hare. He put, I agree with Eric. Uprights for me and throttle control. I'm still love riding them too.
Yes, he is, Gary, and he's very active with his Westlegs and uprights, and that's fantastic that he's still, like some riders, keep going on that and having fun. And I wish I could still be riding the uprights and have fun with you, Gary. But I don't know if I would be riding Westlegs. I'll probably have the GMs in, but having fun, doing what you love, and that's what Gary is doing with his Westlegs. So
fair play.
Keep working on that.
Brilliant. Well, this is a bit of an interesting one. Jason, he's put, if you had ridden against Nicky Pedersen, would you have tried to pass him on the outside?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes, I would. Yes, I would, because I think Nicky, in the way that Speedway times are written these days, has I think sometimes he's had maybe the wrong caption put on. Just 1 second.
No problem.
If he's a hard rider, and always been the hard riders in this sport, and Nicky's. Some of the races, it looks like he's doing things deliberately, but he's not. It's just the situations that comes out of control, and people are racing really hard, and people are today looking for each other, and they were also in my time and era looking for each other. But you got to ride with respect, and I don't like to see the situations where riders do crash and get up, and they have a bing bong about it, both in the pits and on the cameras, and it doesn't look very nice. But I wouldn't have been scared of riding around Nicky Pedersen today. It's a matter of meeting him with respect, the same way as he's doing with you. If you want to race hard, but still you gotta leave that percentage to be able to walk away from the track after you maybe been in a tussle. You need to leave the room that there is, and I think some of the situations that you see on tracks, and it's not particularly Nicky, it is riders that don't get on off the track, and they take it out on each other and that's when it becomes dangerous, and we don't need that in the sport, and therefore the people need to look at the competition and their rivals and respect them off the track. They can maybe not agree on different things, and people can blow things out of proportion, which you got to remember, if that's taken out on the track because of that, that can leave people really badly injured, and we don't want that.
No, for sure. Oh, I've got another legend just come up as well, Mr. Chris Morton himself. He's put, "Hi Eric, this is on Twitter. Great to see you looking well and still on top form. Special times, great people, Mort."
Thanks, Mort. Mort, like I said, we had so many good times. And one episode was we were riding in Alchin for the World Team Cup final back in '83. I think it was 81. 81, I think it was. And no, it would have been '83. And like, there was the English camp and the Danish team. We were at the same hotels, and there was a little river flowing in front of the hotel. It was so warm, and we came home from the practice, and the meeting was the next day. And Chris Morton and some of the other mechanics and wives, and they walked down to this little river, and our team manager and Ollie and Hans and all them, we were all at the hotel, and I was looking across, and I ran down to Mort and jumped in the water with him. And we were had these plastic boards. We were just paddling around like kids in the water. And Ollie was sort of saying, "What the bloody hell are you doing down there? You know, you should be up here concentrating and focusing on tomorrow and that, instead of running around and playing like a kid down there." And I said, and our team manager Ollie said, "Let him play, you know." And Ollie said, "Oh, all right then, you know." And I just stayed there and played with Morton and had a lot of fun. And we have travelled to so many different meetings across from England together, Mort and I, and respected him, like I said, as a fantastic rider and rival on the track, and I'm proud to call him my friend forever.
Great times with Chris. Got Derek Steele. He put, "Hey Eric, so great to see you. You may remember me as Steely, Cross's old mechanic. Yeah. I remember coming to your home in, is that Eskerberg, you pronounce that?
Yeah.
Eskerberg, back in the 80s, and how welcome we were always made to feel with Hella and Michael Hansen. Happy Christmas to you guys, and thanks for the memories."
Oh, thank you.
Nice.
I remember him really well. He's fantastic and clever mechanic. Thank you.
Someone's asked, they would like to know, does Eric get recognised much when he goes out shopping or to the supermarkets?
Here in Denmark?
Yeah, I presume he means that.
Yes.
Do you?
We've still, but there's been, and that's one of the things that I needed to sort of get used to when we did move back here, and being in this situation that I was in and I am, that I are. I mean, I can't walk down the town. Like I have the mobility scooter, and there's different things and situations where
he doesn't even know where the local shop is.
no, I do. And like it's it's something that I needed to get used to, like I said, and there was years, and now with the movie that came out last year, with Ollie, Hans, and myself, and all the press that was surrounded, like in that, it was very special, and now we are in February. We start on a tour, Ollie, Hans, and myself, and like on a speak, where we go to sell 12 different cities with that, and it's really hyped up pretty big here in Denmark. So yes, we do get recognized, but it's always with a smile on and time to talk to people. So it's nice to be remembered in both for what you did on the track and the situation that you're in and what you have done and are doing. So I'm happy and pleased about that, of course.
It's sort of it's like a weird thing, but it seems like with social media now, like almost somehow or another, the guys from even back in the day, from 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, have almost seemed to have even got more famous somehow, if that's possible, but because of the social media.
Yeah, but isn't that
remembering the good times, you know?
Remembering the good times and being able to be confronted with nice pictures and memories, small stories associated with different happenings and finals and whatever. And it's wonderful. It is wonderful, and also with meeting people through the social media, keeping the friendships alive. So it's fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Getting to do things like this.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Is it possible to have like just 2 minutes, because I've had too much coffee, so I need to go.
No problem at all. I can check out some of these questions.
Yeah, carry.
No worries. Carry on.
Thank you.
No problem. Wow, people, talking to the legend Erik Gundersen. Wow, loving life right now. I'm just trying to catch up with some of your questions. I'm still looking at ones from about 8 o'clock. Hi, everyone. Just catching up on some of your questions. Because we're probably about 40 minutes behind on these. But I will do my best to ask your questions. Bruce is watching. Oh, hello, Bruce. Mr. Pennells was on. That was about 20 past 8. He asked that question. It's 10 to 9 my time now. Okay, great. I'll have to bring that up to Eric. I can also see Colin Richardson's been on as well. Obviously, I managed to spot that Dennis Agalos had been on, which was awesome. Chris Morton's been on. Amazing. Looks like my mother's still on. Hello, Mother. How are you? Always remembered Eric, superstar and a lovely man. So I'm just sort of looking down some of your questions, guys, because I've said that I was looking at questions from, I'm on questions from about 10 to 8, and it's now 10 to 9 my time. So I'll tell you what we could do. We could share a video, but then I'd like Eric to see it as well, actually. So maybe I won't do that until he's back. I've got a couple of videos of Eric as well, people. So basically, you know that I normally get a lot of pictures of the guests. So I'm going to put some of them up soon. Hopefully when Eric comes back, look, I've got plenty of those to show you. And then I've got 2 videos as well that I'm going to show Eric. One is of him winning a race sort of pretty much from the back at Bradford in the world final that got him into the runoff for the world title. that he went on to win. And also the other one is when he wrapped up the World Long Track Championship, I believe, for the first time. So I'll bring that video on as well. Thanks to Adam Winslet as well for sorting me out with them videos.
I'm back.
All good, Eric?
Yes, all good.
All good. So what I'll do is I've been looking down. Actually, I'll just mention this comment before I show you those pictures and a couple of videos that we got together. My mum's a bit of a fan of Bruce Pennell, and she goes, Bruce is on Lee. So I've just looked down the comments because we were quite behind on it. And there we go. Look, Bruce Pennell, he put, hey, Gunder, the wonder. You're looking great, young man. You have some great stories, my friend. Shall I share a few about you? Hugs to you and the family.
Oh, thank you so much, Bruce. And it's so nice that Bruce has come onto the social media as well, and Facebook.
Very cool, yeah.
Even active. And I have so many memories with that guy. He's absolutely fantastic. Went over twice and stayed with him and had holidays in California. He's a friend, like I said, for life, and he means the world to me. And hopefully you'll have him on one night as well, Lee, in the future.
Yes, I did do one with him, like a Skype recorded one. So I have done one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's on my YouTube channel somewhere. That in case anyone didn't know that, it's on there. But a live one would be really good as well with the fans. They sort of took things on a little bit to another level. Interacting with the fans has been really cool. There you go, look, Eric.
Yes, there he is. We see his. He was a guy that I think turned the sport into completely different time, being so flamboyant and brilliant hit with the fans across the country of England, of course, and like I said earlier, with his riding style and his ability to adapt the different things on the track itself, and become the world champion that he did at Wembley in '81 with it, especially the two races with Ollie and Tommy Knudsen, where exhilarating and thrilling, that unbelievable, and also like Bruce winning the championship for his parents that he lost, and the family situation that he was in. He was, got to remember, he was across from America and doing a job in England like he did. Was he was like just box office everywhere he went in Europe, and a superstar. If we ever had one in Speedway, definitely it was Bruce Pennell as the one and only, I would say, in that respect. He was on a different level. Yes.
I'll flick through some of these photos that I've collected together. Nice one there in the old Danish colours. Bit of an older one here.
Yeah, that's an old one. That's from Oxford, Sandy Lane. That is.
Is it?
Yeah, Halverson leathers. I remember that being, I think, on the back of the Speedway Star, as you can see it was.
Yeah.
And that was down at Oxford. I'm probably looking and sitting there waiting for Hans to come up and get ready at the table. Always had to wait for him. He always took his time. I'm probably looking for him. Yes.
I did actually ask Hans about stuff like that, because someone brought up about like some people used to sort of play a little bit of delaying tactics, or a little bit of what would you want to call it? A little bit of tactics at the start and things like that. Did you ever get involved in all that? Did that ever bother you? Did Hans said he didn't actually do it for that. He said he just was doing his own thing, but obviously Ryder did do it.
If there was anybody using the 2 minutes, it was Hans. I mean, you could in the heats you went out with Hans, and I thought it would maybe dig around a couple of ruts and get ready, and West was just waiting for Hans to get ready, and he could never sort of be happy or satisfied with any other than like the last couple of seconds, like you see today also in any run where they have the clock. They know exactly what how many seconds they got left. But it was a matter of being satisfied with what you thought, and I felt myself I was pretty quick at saying, okay, I'll have that rod, or I'll make the start out of that groove or platform, and like in the World Championships, like with Voyens, especially in '88, Hans was just digging and digging and digging, and I thought, oh, now he's ready. But okay, then he started all over again, and it was a waiting game, and of course there was tactics in it. Sometimes where you felt you got stiffened up on the bike by waiting, you had to turn around and get your shoulders loosened up again and getting you breathing, because it's very important you get the right amount of air in your lungs for that moment to when the green light comes on, because then you stop breathing. You don't breathe from when the green light and the start goes. You don't breathe till you are in the middle of the corner. It's funny, but you don't. You hold your breath, so you've got to have plenty of air in your lungs.
Here we go. Got another nice one there. Look.
Yeah, that's with Gert Hamber and Simon Cross in '88. Again, you can see there's the different designs of the leathers, both on Crossy and on Gert, and colors, very colorful. I don't know if it's all pretty, but there's a mix of colors there also in the race jackets.
Very nice. I see that,
green and everything.
Green and red,
And I was playing around also with the black leathers again. I was using white leathers most of the time, but it could probably be because I felt I was getting beat too much, and it was easier to clean black leathers. I don't know, a little bit that, but again, adapting the designs into to everything, it was nice. And like you see on the bikes with the cables and the handlebar and rubbers are yellow. Everything had to be immaculate to be able to beat Simon Wick in his setup. So be on your marks on that.
I love that. A bit of OCD. I used to like doing that. That's a nice one there in the Danish colours.
Yeah, I think SO that would be probably that would be from could be from the pairs final up at Gothenburg, Ullevi. I think it is, with the SO.
There's a nice one on the front of the Speedway Star. Is that winning a
World that's from Long Beach, California, for the World Team Cup in '88, where we did win, and that was an experience in itself. We won twice at Long Beach, and like you asked me earlier about my favorite, or I was asked earlier about my favorite track, and I forgot to say that my favorite track ever, the best track I have ever ridden on Speedway, was at Long Beach, and that was a layout with a beautiful banking and dirt that was similar to a thicker layer what you had like on a tennis court, and watered down with the right amount of clay, and like turning the bikes coming down to the third corner. I can watch that in and out, because coming down to the third corner with the speed, and it was sort of sucked into the corner, and you had like a feeling of your G-force and leaning into the bikes and hooking up, and wow, and having the races there with Bobby Schwartz and Sean and Kelly Moran and Dennis Sigalos earlier. So then Penel being the team manager and Bobby, and it was fantastic. We had some great times coming across there.
Is that the one where Hans mentioned to me on his interview about that there's a bit of he wasn't sure if there was a bit of gamesmanship stuff going on? Was that the one when you all got locked in the change rooms or something?
Yeah, that was the final before this one where Ollie was out.
Okay,
I think we got locked in, and was it done on purpose? Maybe it was just to, but it worked quite opposite, because we got so
fired you up.
And I think it was mostly because we felt that we were going to miss the parade or miss something, and I can't really remember. But Bo Peterson, he was knocking on that door, big garage door, and we're kicking it and screaming, and we all got, now we're gonna show these Yanks, we're gonna beat them. And that in the end, and it was it worked.
So it probably worked against them in the end, like firing you guys out.
If it was done on purpose, it did work against them. Yes.
So there's that times when you was wearing the JT face mask that someone was talking about.
Yes, there's one like that, Lee, and like we had the tear off system put on like those clamps as well. You can see there on the little sun visor.
Yeah.
Well, we had some small metal pieces where we put the tear-offs on, and also directly on the goggles itself. And I felt comfortable with that face mask. It was quite nice. But then the RI helmet came in with a different screw-on system on the helmets, and I thought I'll get back on using them again. So I did switch back. Yeah.
Got a nice, interesting one here.
Well, I think that's from either Birmingham or no, that's from Wembley Indoor, which we did on concrete. I didn't like that. I didn't.
I was just about to ask you that.
No, I didn't like the indoor meetings,
No.
especially not on concrete. But it was more like get together, both for the spectators and the riders themselves in the winter break, and I enjoyed coming across for them in the winter time. I think even at that time I was staying in England throughout the winter, but and like when you had done the last meeting of the season at the end of October or mid-October, you couldn't wait for it to be to come March again before you could come out and ride again. So therefore, in like January or February or whenever the meetings were, it was so nice just to warm up your bike and then go out and riding on that small concrete track. That was not so much fun, but it was a spectacle, and it was mostly just for fun. So we approached it in that way as well. Yeah, we had a good time.
Nice one there.
Yeah, that's in 84, winning the World Cup and the long track final and the individual speed at the same time. Yeah, it was fantastic to be able to do that. You see the trophy, the World Team Cup trophy. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. It's actually right behind me where I'm sitting, and that's.
Let me get rid of that then.
Yeah, it's there.
Oh yeah, lovely.
It's absolutely fantastic. That is it's from. Let's just show you.
Beautiful.
It is absolutely fantastic, and it's got all the years.
All the years as well, all the engraved.
And like. It's absolutely fantastic. I love this trophy. This trophy was in Great Britain in what was it, 1972? Hang on. It's from the first winners was back in 1960. Was Sweden in 1960.
1960.
It was something that. I can't remember who it said on here. Founded by Polish weekly magazine Motor. And this trophy was outright by Great Britain and then given back into the sport in 1959, I think.
Wow.
Some piece of
it's fantastic.
It needs a little polish on it. I had this trophy for donkey's years, so now it's my turn to have it in my office for a bit.
Thanks for sharing that with us. I appreciate that.
I take care of that. I look after it. I need to polish it though. But to be able to win those titles at the same time was unbelievable. Especially winning the World Speedway at Gothenburg, and then 2 weeks later going down to Germany and win that long track was so unexpected for everybody. I mean, I was just there for the ride. I qualified for the World Long Track Final. It was my fourth meeting, and I was offered to ride this Otto Langenhammer bike, and I jumped on that, and it was so fast. It was a wreck of a bike to look at, and it was out of balance factor on the flywheels. The handlebars was so thick down the straight, but it gated, and the gearbox and the gearing and everything was absolutely perfect. And then I went out and won in front of all the big German names: Egon Müller, Karl Mayer, Ellis Wiesberg. It was so unheard of what I did that afternoon. And I had Christian Presbo, who was a good long track rider himself, and he was my mechanic. And he came up to me as we were walking out for the final. And we were 6 riders in each race. And as we were walking out for the final itself, and he said, if you just get 1 point here, you're world champion. If you finish 5th, and I couldn't believe it. And then I went out and got beaten by Egon. Got smoked. He dropped it on me on the first corner, and came second in the final itself. And there I was, the long track champion of the world, in front of 30,000 German fans that had come hoping to see another German win the final. And there I was, double world champion in Speedway and long track. Not many has done.
Amazing. Actually, on that note, Eric, we've got a little video of that, so I'll share it. Here we go. Yeah. Here we go.
Border Collins in action, but now Gundersen with one less rival knows a 3rd place only will do it. Gundersen away, he goes another quick start from the little Cradley here, then he's away, but so too is Egon Müller. Müller gets around the outside. Gundersen is 2nd, Mayer is 3rd. And Gundersen knows that this will do as Müller.
So at the time, Eric, you obviously knew about this. I'll unmute you so you can say, I'll mute my...
He needs only to sit tight, do nothing silly, and he is going to become the world long track champion at the first time of asking. In his first world final, only one man has won both the World Speedway and long track championships in 1 year. That was Ivan Major 12 years ago in 1972. But little Erik Gundersen, who packed up smoking to get himself more competitive, is really firing now. Egon Müller in front. A win here will take him into 2nd place overall in the championships. Gundersen doing nothing silly at all. And there is the checkered flag, and the Dane has done it. Gundersen goes into...
To Hammers all bike, winning that was unreal.
So that must have felt pretty special as you went over that finish line and see the celebration
it was
there.
So special. Couldn't believe it.
Yeah. We've got another special race. We've got another one on video that I'm going to show you, and that's from Bradford, where you sort of pretty much come from the back to seal your runoff race.
Yeah.
This is a bit of a special race, so we'll show this one.
Yes.
And on the inside from America, disappointing on 8 points. Then Gundersen in 2. Lance King again disappointing from the United States in grid 3. And the Italian Castagna on the outside. Still gate 1 has been the most fruitful with 39 points. Gundersen's in 2 here, and he'll be looking for a clear run up to the first corner. And looking for Moran on his inside shoulder. 20 tall on this one, and Moran has got a flyer. Oh, I'm sure Moran anticipated there, and he's away, and Gundersen now has work to do because Lance King is getting around the outside of him as well. And the Americans will be anxious to keep Gundersen out because it then gives their man Ermolenko a level chance in a runoff, and this is a disaster for Erik Gundersen. He missed the start completely, and well, can he possibly find the extra drive? He's coming up to challenge. Here comes Erik Gundersen around the outside, and that's magnificent. He's taken them apart. Oh, Gundersen just kept it all wound on and left the Americans as though they both had punches. What sensational. And into the last lap, the Danish crowd are on their feet, so are all the people here, because this really is magnificent speedway from Erik Gundersen. He's back in with a chance of retaining his title. We're going to have a 3-man run-off. We haven't seen one of those since 1951, and Gundersen wins it.
Wow, what a ride.
That was a bit of a race, and it was an important one to win, of course, if I had any chance of retaining the title or winning it again, and like making a poor start like I did, and that was just so bad. And then the races before, I'd seen that the dirt line had moved up to where it was, and I was lucky to hook the dirt up and keep my wheels in line, and you had to sort of, I think, to ride Bradford like I did that day, you had to really give it a handful and hope to stay on, because it was so grippy. When you did those, but it carried you around, and the day as it formed with Hans with his unfortunately in one race, and and it turned out that Sam and Hans and myself was on equal on 13 points, I think it was, and we went in the runoff, and it was spectacular, and it was for me to beat them from gate 4 at Brad was special on a day where things hadn't gone my way. I didn't have the best of the start to the meeting, and everything was sort of a bit down for me, and I didn't feel particularly good on the day. Maybe it was the pressure of being the world champion and that, but it came good in the end, and I learned a lot from that day to approach finals in different ways and thinking deeper than about what I was doing, and my sort of approach to both my bikes, my mechanics, and my surroundings to get that complete rider that you need to be on the day to go out and win. I did learn a lot from Bradford on 85, definitely.
I thought this was very cool. I think this was Hans Andersen that did this, wasn't it, Eric?
Yeah, that was so nice. And
that's really nice, yeah.
Hans Andersen, and this was done in for the Grand Prix. I think it was in Copenhagen. And he said to me, come over and I've got something to show you. And I was in tears that day when he showed me that. That was such a nice gesture.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Of him.
Yeah, very nice. I enjoyed
that. This is a junior bike that, which is not very nice for me riding it without a helmet on, but I think it's taken on the car park outside Wembley Arena for an indoor meeting. That's why I'm just wearing my hat. So it's one of the junior riders from down Eastbourne, which I probably jumped on. I love the kids. Always, or most of the times when we had the time when we were at Eastbourne on a Sunday afternoon, the kids was always riding on the small track behind Martin and his brother and Bob Dugyard, and I would always come across and have a look and seeing the kids there. It was a great training track, and good riders came out of there as well.
Yeah, got a nice one there.
Oh yes, this is from the Speedway Knockout Cup final at Hull, and this must be 79, yes, and it was a big surprise. I was winning there. We see, I think that's Brian Marner beside Bobby Schwartz there, which was the opposite team manager. I remember Bruce got really upset in that particular meeting because Brian Marner, he did throw a bucket of water in the head of Bruce when he crossed the finish line in his last race. And
did he?
It was quite dangerous what he did.
Yeah, very dangerous. Yeah.
But
yeah.
it was all fun and banter afterwards. And I think there's a lot of chalk powder thrown at us and things like that. And you see the Rising and Christian Presper at the back there, Big Elbow, Waslin, John Hack, and Dave Perks and Bobby and Phil and myself. It was fantastic. Yeah, good time.
See you in Kenny there.
Yes, that's they see what we were talking about before. Kenny, Kenny, we're both lifting after the start, and you can see Kenny's hands are not on the grip like I have. You use your clutch lever all the way to the corner, and as you can see, Kenny has just let his out.
Yeah,
I would be using it all the way down.
Feather it.
Good action shot that.
That's a nice one there.
Yes. This would be 90, yeah, with Greg and Billy coming across, and where after I got out of hospital and I went back to Craig and helped them out in the best way I could at the time, and to see those two young kids grow up to become men in the sport that they both love so much, and both ending up winning world championship was a fantastic achievement by them both.
Yeah.
And it was nice for us to have them living with us in Austria for quite a long period of time. We definitely learned what a telephone bill would be like.
Yeah.
Because they were used to to call in free in America, where they didn't pay for phone call. But it was so heavy. But it got the house alive, and in my situation where I got to, from being active speedway rider in my workshop and everything, and to sort of get to terms to live with a disability from the sport and everything, that they put a smile on my face on a daily basis many times, and I was happy to guide them in the right direction, and I must have said something right to both of them.
Yeah, definitely. That would have helped them massively.
So
yeah, definitely.
And I still keep close to both of them. Yes, here we have an accent shot.
Nice drawing, I think that one is.
Yeah, that is a nice
Aussie art?
and that is like a shot of also with the designs of the 88, 89
Very nice.
that I wrote, the white and the yellow and black. I always used to say that Renault Formula One at that time, they stole my design when the cars in those colors. So I definitely have it.
Definitely Erik Gundersen copyright there.
Yeah.
It's got a nice one there. Look, when you went into the black in there. I loved all the gold. You always like the gold rims were nice as well on the bikes.
Yeah, there again. That was in '86 where Steve Bastable came back into the teams. Yeah, Phil and Simon and Jano.
Gone a bit red there as well.
Yeah, that was an idea we had with Tolber in Sweden, with the different anodizing on the aluminium, both on the rims, engine plates, and handlebars, and what have you. And I wanted them to be sort of an orange, like a glowing orange. And I asked them, could they do that? And Life at Tolber said, yes, we can do that. And I went up to Sweden to collect all my stuff there, and I think it was in January or February of that year. And when I got up there and I saw it was sort of red, it was not quite like I would have liked it to have been.
Oh.
It was a long drive home from there, but we had it sort of incorporated with the cars, as you can see. I only rode with that one year, and I couldn't wait for that year to finish so we could get back on the old gold anodizing scheme again. Yeah,
an older one there.
That's early '83 with Westlake. This is I think this could be down at Eastbourne actually. It could be Eastbourne, but there it's just a blue color scheme, as you can see, both the leathers and handlebars. And that was like we were talking about earlier, trying to get all the different colors to match in together, so you're sort of at one unit in one way. So and also with all the different advertising stickers to get room for it all, and sometimes you look like a bloody circus clown with all the different. It was too much at times. That was the way it was, and of course you wanted to advertise for all the people that did help you. So it was harder. Yes, here we are. That's from Brazil, I think. That's Erik Gundersen and Peter Nalin. Where we got the ice racing and Peter being the under 21.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like the two Swedes, you see, they were both in the same white suits, and that. Now it's in my jacket, but this is from Rio de Janeiro, where we went across for the F1 Congress. That was a fantastic trip, actually. Yeah.
A bit of an experience.
Hey, we are flat out. This could be. I think this is a Dudley Wood, actually. That was one of the things also. Racing the bikes more than sitting more upright and getting your head down for the wind and everything. And that was also something that came in the early 80s, I think, racing the bikes like we're doing, like it's shown in the picture here. Yeah.
I like that one. That's a very nice one.
This one is from 88, Voyens. This was an autograph cards that was made, where they put the different titles on their individual long track and pairs. Yeah, it's unbelievable when you think about it.
Nice moment of victory.
This is coming across the finish line at points 88 after the runoff with Hans. And that was a celebration which was unreal. Hans and I got on really well together after fierce rivalry throughout the 80s, and that we actually after Hans won at Katowice in 86, our friendship became so much better, and we respected each other really good, and riding for Denmark in the World Team Cups and pairs, and that we got on really well after that, and which we both were happy about. And I remember also when Hans he won his third his second one in Amsterdam, and then the showdown was in Morton, and we were just both happy in a way, shook hands and respected each other for what we both did in different ways. And here we are. This is from a pairs meeting, and you could see the genuine smiles on both of us here, working together, and like we had a way of looking for each other on the track. Hans was fantastic on covering the inside, and I could then, because of my size and the way I was riding the bike differently, I was content with being on the outside. It could be hard at times because the traffic could be fierce in the first corner and that, but Hans was such a good tactic rider, and he could shut off and make the room, so we would come away with maybe a 5-1 or 4-2, or sometimes I would lose out and it was the 3-3, but we would carry each other through, and in the end, we did win some good championships together in that, with that respect, also in the team.
Nice one there.
That's just another posting shot. I think that's from '84. Was done in Esbjerg through the winter, and here we are. That's at the house at Ashby. When we had pictures taken with the 3 trophies that I won, which we just talked about, the long track, the team and the individual.
Very nice. A bit of pink going on there.
86, yes. See a bit of pink colors there with them, and that was a set of GTS leathers that Joe Smitherman made for me, trying out different things and different designs and different colors, and even the goggles see matching.
Yeah, I see that. That's nice.
It's This was something funny because this is at Wolverhampton. I'm riding Jano Peterson's bike here. No, that is my own. But I was at one time practicing wheelies at Monmouth Green. We had permission to go and practice there one day, and wheelies was just coming in, and I couldn't do them. I was not very good at them. I rather kept. I felt more comfortable with the front wheel down. I didn't. It was okay when the front wheel came off the ground a little bit down the straightaway or out in the corners, and that. I was content with that. But doing the actual wheels, I couldn't do it. And the Americans brought that in, and it looked spectacular. And I thought I got to practice on that, so I started doing that on Jano's bike at Wolverhampton because I didn't want to tip my own bike. And I did flip it a few times, but in the end, I did flip it a few times. In the end, I got to learn it. I remember one time at Tommy Knudsen, he did a commentary where he crossed the finish line in one race and he went all the way over the back. And
he did it.
Luckily, he got up and he bowed to the crowd. It was fantastic. But it was something that the Penhall started in 80. 81, and I mean the wheels that he could do, Bruce, was just unbelievable. And I said to myself, I'm not even going to try and do that. I'll let him do that. And I did start practicing, but I couldn't do the fast ones. I could probably wheelie after a race like I'm doing here. I would never do them across the finish line. I didn't like that.
No. I see you deep in thought, yeah?
Yeah, it's probably. I think this could be race jacket. Looks like it's at Lonigo, Italy. This could be pairs final. The pairs final when we lost out. Yeah, I think it is. Where things went really against both Hans and myself down there because we didn't ride. We didn't team ride like we should have done, and that's probably why I'm sitting there being cheesed off and probably on myself. And approaching the meeting maybe not in the right way, and that's why I'm probably thinking, bloody hell, what's happening here. But like I said earlier, you learn meeting by meeting, so you always took it away, and that's why I'm deep in thought here, probably getting it into my mind that mistakes that was made, you don't want to make them again, and that's the only way you learn. Oh, here, Wiggy. See, that's a typical picture of Simon and me because we were always having fun. And this is, as you can see, this is a test match. It's probably at Crazy, I think it is, with the dogs behind. And we would even be joking and having a good laugh. And I must have had one of my stronger days here by lifting, being able to lift Simon. He was a lot bigger than I was, but I loved Simon so much. He was a hero of mine in many ways. And what he did for the sport, both Speedway and the long track, was unbelievable. And
very professional. I loved his green setup.
Yes, here we are at Bradford, 85, just after the runoff with Hansen and Sab Amalenko. They're getting the bumps there. Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's cool. Flat out action here.
Yeah, that's Hasevinkel long track semi-final before the World Final in '86. Flat out here on a track which was really nice to ride, banking, and you can see also on the dirt and everything that bike and rider is in total balance. Going flat out here, maybe, I don't know, 160, 70 Ks an hour, and just sitting there like it's in a sofa, just hanging onto the handlebar, just front wheel in the right direction and hanging on and enjoying it. And the feeling when everything was set up right on a long track and riding on the big German tracks was out of this world. A feeling unbelievable. Both the speed and the whole spectacle is fantastic. 83 winning squad, probably the best team ever, if not the best team ever, with Peter, Ron, Phil, and Lance, Simon, Peter, Jano Peterson, and Alan Graham and Peter Adams. The picture and the trophies just talk for itself. It was that team was so easy to be captain for. We were all so close, and we knew each other way in and out, and I knew exactly what to say to Jana or to Lance or to Simon, or we could get each other pumped up in a way that we went out, and that's what Pete Adams wanted us to do, just to get the last percentage out of each rider. Then he knew that would produce another 3 or 4 points, and that was enough to win the matches. And that's how Pete Adams was, or is, the most clever guy in the game of league speedway. Peter taught and learned me so many things that I'd never seen before, and he's still doing it today. I remember him with his program in his hand, and he never used a program board. He just had it folded over, and Pete would have sort of done the calculation on the heats, 3 or 4 heats ahead, and he would say, well, okay, Alan, he'll come second in that, Wiggy will win that, and you will come second in our. And he would say, okay, if we do this, then we'll win by 3 points. And that's what would happen. And he could sort of foresee each race by race, of course not 100%, but he was such a clever tactician. And that's what made the whole of the difference, and everybody worked together on that. I have the most upper respect for that guy in that matter. Unbelievable what Peter has done for the sport. Unbelievable. And still is doing.
I got a Paul Renner. He put, "Hi Eric, why did Yano copy your race suit? He did win his world final in them colours."
Well, why did he? Probably because he didn't have any ideas himself. Yeah, maybe he thought that the design and colors would bring him luck, and it did bring him luck in that one particular final in Gothenburg where he did win. Where Yano made 5 starts and won the final, which was very, very clever. And I remember I asked Yano, how on earth did you win 5 heats? Because Yano was the worst skater of all. He was worse than Simon Cross and Phil Collins together, and that says a lot. And Yano couldn't answer me. He said, "I don't know what I did," and he couldn't make it the day after if he had to. But that night he did fly around that track. Yeah.
I think this was John Davis here on his YouTube channel. I'm thinking he's put, "Always said you are the main Dane, JG." It's gotta be John.
I was out that day that John was on, and I couldn't see that. But and like with John, I have the memories with him being in Reading at that time, and also meetings in Germany and across in Denmark where John was a big star at the time, and very spectacular, very flamboyant. You know, he brought also a lot of color and flamboyancy into the sport, but also being a really nice rival or how would you say, and friend. I got on so well with him, and I like I said, I've traveled a lot with John. I've seen him succeed. I've seen him when things have gone against and everything, but he always brought something into everybody to make you feel comfortable and happy, and as well. I remember when I was laying in hospital in Pinderfields, John Davis and Neil Middleditch came up and saw me and brought me a picture, which I've got still hanging, and it's a picture of pheasants that are shooting hunters, because I was hunting at the time, and they brought that in, and I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the way that they drove up to see me, right up to Yorkshire, and they came in after I was still in intensive care at that time. I was there for 4 weeks, and it was still in intensive care when they came in, and I just laid there, and they cheered me up big time, like a lot of people did it at that time. Yeah.
That's nice. Brian Bassett on YouTube has put, "How's the Hagen long track bike coming?"
Oh, Brian. I spoke to Lee about this interview here should have been done in my workshop, but I couldn't get it organized because I can't get my laptop to work out there, and I can't. If I had it on my phone, I could have showed you around my workshop and shown you how my project is going on, but it's coming on really nice. So in the near future, I'll put a lot of pictures up. It's coming on as far as I think I'll be finished with it in a month and a half or so, and it's unbelievable. And I spend a lot of time in my little workshop with all my projects that I'm doing, and I'm enjoying it so much. I've been doing it for the last couple of years, and it's just sort of started something off in my life, which it's hard to explain what it's done for me. But actually, with friends and help, I've had the workshop set up so I can use all my different machinery with one arm. I have a lathe, and I have a milling machine. I have a vapor blaster. I have mostly everything to do complete, both speedway bike and long track restoring, and I'm doing 7 bikes at the moment, and that's the three winning bikes I have: 84, 85, 88. They are done, which are the original one, and then I'm doing my 86 long track bike, which is the original one. I had the engine from Eddie Bull. I gave it to him back after we won that together, the first World Championship long track. Eddie won, and I gave him the engine at that time, and he gave it me back 4 or 5 years ago because I started the project up. And then we found the Hagen frame that I raised at that time, and I finally got that back just under a year ago. So it's a big restoration job.
Wow.
And then I've done my first 2-valve Java. I rode in 76. That's finished. And I'm just having my street 77 conversion doing at the moment. A friend of mine, John Laversen, here in Esbjerg, who does a lot of restoration work. He's doing that for me. A fantastic machinist. He is so clever. And he's getting the engine put together. And I've done the frame and everything is ready. And then I'm doing my 81 World Final
wow.
bike. I've got the engine, the Westlake. I found that just 6 months ago by coincidence. A guy here in Esbjerg bought it off me, and I was asking for a Westlake Mark IV, and he had that. And I can't wait to put that bike together. What I need, if anybody has any pictures out there, I need some pictures from the 81 World Final. So if anybody out there have them or know somebody has, I need some close-up pictures, because there's a couple of details that I'm not sure of. So if anybody has pictures, please. But I will start putting some pictures out in the next month or so, because I've taken hundreds of pictures, and I want sort of a little storyline to follow before I release the pictures. And the plan is, I have a plan, and it'll probably be done within 2 years, is to take them all to a special place in Denmark and do a film about it. So that'll be done.
Wow.
So and it'll be done in English, but I'll come back. I'll come back to that. I think people are gonna love what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna love it myself. So that it's gonna be something very, very special.
Very cool. That sounds very cool. I also had Colin Richardson as well. Say hi, Eric. How's it going? Looking, mate. Long time no see from Colin Richardson. He's in Dubai.
Yeah, hi, Colin. So he's down in the sunshine. Against and everything is going good. Yeah.
John Westwood said, "What was when the new rule came out for touching the tapes? What was your views on that, Eric, at that time?"
I hated it.
I remember Hans taking the mick out of it, saying you kept running in at least once a meeting.
Can you imagine, Lee, that like in 80 or 83, whenever it came out?
Yeah.
When we were able to move them on the start, it was a matter of letting the clutch go at the complete split second right time, and you had sort of a movement in the body, and I could see like all the big stars, they were all doing it. So I thought, I'll see if I can get in the momentum of doing it. I was getting quite good at it, but I didn't want to cheat. But I wanted to have the advantage that was legal at that time. But then when the rule came in, I had a problem of sitting still, and you had to sit still. And if you can imagine, I actually lost 11 complete meetings that year for Cradley. I was excluded 44 times. And it was so bad that people was making bets on the terraces in which race I would touch the tape, because they knew that I could go out maybe winning my first 3 races and then touch the tape. So it was terrible, and I thought I had to feel that everybody was after me, and which they were not. But some of the referees were quite tough on me, like Frank Ebden. I didn't get on too well with Frank. Every time we had him, he would come in the changing room, and he would always have a little preaching about he would keep the tapes and blah blah blah. And he would look at me and he would point his finger and he said, "And Eric, I will especially look after you. You're not going to move 1 centimeter, and I shall exclude you. And I thought, I shall sit still. I will show you. But he would then tease you so much that and hold the tapes just that split second longer for you to make that movement. And then he would beat you. And he would probably sit there up in the tower and enjoy it. And I hated him for that. But that was the way it was. But can you imagine losing 11 complete meetings in a year? Oh my God.
Nightmare. Absolute
nightmare it was. But I learned it in the end. And it was a good rule that came in. It was a good rule.
I'm glad Paul Hurry put his name at the bottom because it didn't come up on his picture, but he put "Evening, Eric. How cool was that to be the world long track champion and speedway champion in the same year?" Paul Hurry. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, well, it was something that you never dreamt about to happen, because especially like long track was new for me, and I got to love the long track. I enjoyed doing it when the tracks was probably prepared and I liked the big open 1,000-meter tracks. I was not good on the grass track. I didn't get on very good with them, but being able to go out and make the starts, which I did on being a technical good gator on Speedway, I could adapt that into long track, and learning to pull the gear lever at the right time as well, and race the bike at the high speeds that you were doing, and then to be able to do it in the same year, winning the Speedway. That was spectacular. But I think in '86 when I won the long track championship at Farkirchen, the 25-point maximum, which was the first time ever somebody had done that. Winning all 5 races was probably a very proud moment in my career, because that was like 2 weeks after I'd lost the championship to Hans in Katowice. So it was revenge time, and Hans was in that final as well, and I smoked him big time. So
I love that word.
I smoked him big time.
Smoked him big time. I love it.
Yeah.
That was cool. I got Nigel Wagstaff as well. He's put "Lovely interview. Best wishes, Eric."
Thank you very much, Nigel. Nice year as well. I remember Nigel.
Yeah, I remember him at Oxford and stuff. Malvin Saunders, he put, "Yes, I filmed that wheelie with Tommy Knudsen when I worked at the Abbey Stadium, so it was at Swindon. I thought it was. Also sent it, and then they used it on Question the Sport as well."
Oh, so it was at
Swindon, yeah. Swindon,
so
yeah.
That would have been at Swindon.
I remember seeing it not long ago, actually.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was at
the bow.
But he was lucky not to hurt himself in that stunt.
Very lucky, and he got up and did the whole bow. It was quite a cool.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Melvin.
Oh, my mum's just come up and she put, "Big thanks to Eric, making my son so happy with this interview. I know he is very happy, and it was a big fan of yours as a young lad."
Oh, thanks, Daddy.
Definitely was.
Yeah.
And he said a lot of people have been mentioning, obviously, on them videos, Wayne Holloway. You remember Malcolm Holloway as his nephew? He put the crowd was something special back then.
It was, and like we said before, people got involved in so many ways, which was, and with the tension and everything that was growing up to the big matches, you could really feel the crowd, and that was like when we came to England first and learning to interact with the crowds, and that it could be scary at times because, but it was sort of, it played a big part of your success as well, because you knew that you had people behind you cheering you on, or there was people against you that you wanted to go out and show, I can do this, and shut your mouth by doing stuff on the track and that, without being naughty and doing things, but playing up with them in a good way. And there was many different ways of doing that in those years. And I like to interact, but in a good manner. So yeah.
Did you have any special sort of certain engines that you liked during over the years, Eric, that you sort of had maybe a name for it, or special engines? Obviously, nothing.
No, we had special engines, both Westlakes and GMs that Eddie tuned to perfection, and there was some of them was better than others, but like he did them pretty much the same, just with different sets on compressions and camshafts and what have you. But each year I had 5 new engines done, and then we would sell off the old ones and maybe do a few alternations soon before we sold them, because they were too good to sell, if you know what I mean. But it was running the new engines in was like, you had to do a few meetings on each engine before they were set properly, and Eddie was content with it. Here they are, and he knew exactly, with the service intervals was like eight meetings before he would look at the pistons and compressions and everything. So no, I didn't have any particular names for any of them. It was just
I've got Callie Kaz has put, "Hi Eric, just wanted to say you've made a rubbish year better tonight. Seeing your lovely smile and hearing the happiness in your voice talking about Speedway is amazing. Many happy fans listening tonight."
Oh, thanks, Callie.
That's really nice.
Thank you so much.
Someone put, "What did you think of Phil Collins?"
The musician or the rider?
Phil Collins' impression of you. Sorry.
Phil Collins was good at doing impressions on anybody, and that was just part of Phil, because he was probably that rider in the Grady team who could create the funniest moments and making the team spirit, just taking it to another level at times. And he would do different impressions, and he was fantastic at that. Like he could walk like me because I was bow-legged and what have you. And but Phil, unbelievable some of the things that he could do. And I remember we went after '83. We won the title, the Crane promotion. They gave us a coach trip to Italy, where we would go on holiday for a week, and we were going through the Alps, and I think we'd had a few beers on the coach going down and having a lot of fun, and Phil was stood there in his shorts and no t-shirt on, and he was taking pictures of the Alps as we were driving in, with his arms up and taking. I can see it in front of me now. He was just so funny, and I love the guy so much. He means the world to me. Yeah,
that's brilliant. Cole Baxter put, Hans Nielsen said he wasn't keen on riding my local track, Ipswich. Did you like or dislike riding there?
I liked Foxhall Heath. That was and the good thing with that, it had a collapsible fence. If you came to it did collapse. I did have a few encounters with that. I liked Ipswich. Ipswich could be tough to ride when they had a stock car meeting, which they did quite often have. And it could be a little bit rough and bumpy, but when the track was prepared properly, which after, especially when with John Lewis and that, and what was his name now down there, they put more work into preparing and getting it ready for me. I love the place. I did a few of the 16 lappers there as well, which was the toughest meeting in the world, probably.
Yeah, crazy, really.
But yes, we had a lot of hard meetings there. I remember coming up to my mind now at Ipswich with what was his John Barry? No, was it John Barry? That was the promoter at that time. Yeah, I didn't like him.
Oh, Barry, yeah, Barry's quite outspoken.
I didn't get on very good with him, and we had a few things. But it just put a lot of ignition into the meetings that foods going like that, and racing against Siki down there and Cookie.
Okay,
yeah, brilliant place. Yeah, and it was coming out of Ipswich and out into the woods there, and there was the stadium, and it was and like each place in England, as we're talking about it now so many years ago, I can see him in front of me. I mean, I can close my eyes now and I can see the change rooms at Waterton Road or at Hackney or at Wimbledon, the pitch. I can see people warming up in that little small pitch. I can go in the shower at Halifax, or not in the shower, in the bath up there, where you needed to miss the second half to get in the clean water before you could walk on the water. and it's things like that
all the
just
memories
stands in your mind. So yeah, it's fantastic. I love talking about that. But now we've been talking for 3 hours now,
I
haven't
know we better let you go, Eric. Sorry.
And actually we had a meeting the other day, Hans Nielsen and myself.
Okay.
And I said to Hans, because I was sitting in and watching some of it, I couldn't watch it all. I was awake. And I said, Hans said, good luck to you and Lee on Thursday when you do that. And I said, thank you very much, but I'm definitely not going to do it for 3 hours. Yeah, I'm not, because Hans was just talking, and I can just see myself now. I've been doing the same, and I probably talk more than he has. So maybe I've beaten Hans on this one. I don't know. But
see, it's easily done, isn't it? It's easily done. It flies by when we're reminiscing.
Yeah.
It does fly away. Obviously you won a lot as a team rider and as an individual, Eric. Did you prefer to be part of a team, or did you prefer more individual, or did you just like both? Or
team for me, definitely, because it was nice to win things together. And the good thing is, winning together is one thing, and you can enjoy the thrill afterwards. But you did lose, we lost together as well, and it was easier to find the comfort in losing when you had something to find the comfort with. When you're individual, you have only yourself, and of course it's nice to win, but for me the pairs as well, it was great fun to win, and I think it just comes down to what kind of a person you are, or if you interact with people, you like to be with other people in what you're doing, or some people are more themselves and individual, and fair enough. For me, that's no problem at all. So, and just being lucky enough to have tried it all in the sport is something that, when I look back at it, to have tried to stand on the top of the world and be crowned world champion, not just once but 3 times, and in your own country, it's the last one I won, and I've been part of the winning squad for so many years in all over the world, winning for Denmark, the pairs, that the work that goes into winning that is quite hard, and of course the long track as well. It's sort of full plate, as you say. It's like just being lucky to have gone through that in 10 years, because I only had 10 proper years at the top, and just a shame that it finished off like it did. But I would have liked to maybe carried on for some more years in the sport, but that didn't go that way.
Because you was only 30 years old, weren't you, Eric?
I was 30. I was 30 in the hospital October the 8th, and the accident was on September the 17th, and I turned 30. And the plan was that we would turn down the activities and I would move back to Denmark. That was the plan after the '89 season, and then ride the World Championship and maybe riding in different leagues. But I would lose out on the British scene, and been there and done that for so many years, and I maybe try something different, and then the accident happened, and that sort of made the decision for me to that was it. I was never to ride a bike again after that, and that was one of the things that I was often thinking about, maybe in the later years of my career, that the danger aspect in the sport, I was looking more towards not being ready and in between races, not enough sleep, not enough proper good food, and all the traveling was getting harder and harder. And I think, and I was, one of the things, I never thought of the danger in that respect. I saw accidents happen, and I would always think, well, that won't happen to myself, and I'll take I'll take care of myself and the others and what have you. And it always happens to somebody else. And I knew that Speedway was a matter of a split second. If you did make a mistake, it could be dangerous and it could be fatal. And that kept coming closer and closer to me in my thoughts, and that's no good when it starts doing that. And I remember being out in Czechoslovakia for a big open meeting. It could be the Golden Helmet or whatever. I would sit on my toolbox, and my mechanic would wake me up and say, "Eric, you're out in the next race." And that's when I started thinking about the danger aspect, because a split second out there, you make a mistake, and it could be so dangerous. And then the more I thought about it, which was maybe no good for you, because maybe that would hold you back in some moments, and you would get in more traffic on the first corner, and you would maybe put yourself on the danger line by thinking like that. And that was maybe the time when you should start thinking about maybe retiring. And but I hadn't thought of retiring, but I had thought about turning down activities.
Yeah, and cutting back a bit.
Yeah, cutting it back and maybe doing other things beside riding at all these meetings. Turn it down. We did over 100 meetings over the 8.5, 9 months a year, and turn that down a bit and do other things. And but then the accident happened, and that decision was made for me that afternoon at Bradford.
Yeah, very unfortunate.
Yeah.
You had an amazing career, though. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
In that short space of time, really, when you think of, like you said, that sort of tiny period, really, isn't it?
Compressed, yeah.
I'll just ask a couple more before we go. Maureen Schooling's asked me this, and I've spoke to her quite a bit on feed. I know she comes from Aussie.
Yeah.
She does the helmet colours and everything. She's put, "Hello, Lee Ashby. Can you ask Erik Gundersen if he still has the tapestry I made him, please?"
It's upstairs.
Is it?
It's upstairs.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And I got Mike Wilson put, "Hi, Erik. Was your first long track title a surprise to you, or did you already have the belief you could win it? Thanks for the memories."
Thanks, Mike. Yes, it was the biggest surprise maybe of my career when I won it the first time out in Germany. Biggest surprise ever, and it never sunk in till a long time after what I've achieved there. So it just came as the biggest surprise ever. But afterwards, I worked at trying to win it again, and it became a little bit harder, but it happened for me again in '86. I couldn't ride at the World Final at my home track in Ashby, where Simon Week won in '85, because I crashed in the semi-final and broke 4 vertebrae in my lower back. So I was out for a while, and so I couldn't ride in. No Danish rider qualified for that particular final in '85. Both Hans, Finn Rune Jensen, and myself went out in the 2 semifinals. And then the Danish Federation, they took Finn Rune instead of Hans or myself, just not to put any more petrol on the fire in the Danish press. So they thought it's easier just to let Finn Rune ride, and then we won't have any problems with Hans and Eric on that. But it was a shame. I could have ridden in the final. I had enough time to heal up. I could have ridden in that, and Finn didn't do too good in that final, and it was at my home track, and it would have been nice to have tried and win it there if it had. But it didn't happen, and then therefore I won it in '86 in Germany again. That was fantastic.
Right, I'll ask you one more, Eric, because these guys would go forever. They're all saying lovely things about they loved the interviews, so happy. What a legend, what a nice guy. Well done, Mr. Erik Gundersen, fabulous rider and a pure gentleman. Great interview, well done to both of you. So I'll just ask this, if you could give any advice to any youngster who wants to be a pro speedway rider,
yeah,
what would the advice be?
I think one of the first things is to really feel after in yourself if you really want to do this, if you want to do it for fun or you want to do it to become a champion in it. And you got to ask yourself if you're willing to do the sacrifice with a lot of other different things, because I think riding Speedway, both then and today, is not a matter of just being a part of it. You can be a part of it, but you might as well, when you are a part of it, get the best out of it. And you can only do that by hard work. So look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, where do you want to be in a year's time? And if you can answer yourself, and then you can work at that, then do it. And then you can ask yourself, where will I be in 2 years' time? But it's putting 100% effort in it, and that's both on physically, mentally preparations, mechanically, and technically. You got to know everything. It's no good just having a mechanic. So you do the bikes and I ride it. Some of the riders are doing that now. They don't know how to do the clutches. They don't know what compression they're using. You have got to learn the trade like you do in any trade, and you got to train. And when you think and have the feeling, I've practiced and trained enough now, that's when you do another session. You do that little percentage more. And one other thing is, like, we always have the saying that you don't rest on your laurels, or whatever you're saying. I would do the day after I won any championship, being it world championship or Danish or whatever. I would think the next morning I woke up, what can I do today to make this happen again in 364 days? And if you can think like that, then you're on the right path of success in the sport that you either love or you hate. And luckily I love it, and I've loved it since I was 11 years old, and I'm 61 now, and I love it till the day I can't breathe anymore.
I love it, Eric. Well, I'll be forever grateful, mate. I can't believe I've got to even meet you and speak to you, let alone it's been over 3 hours with you. I'll be forever grateful, Eric. Obviously, the memories of your career. What a rider! What a man! Absolute legend, mate.
Thank you for doing all the work and keeping the sport alive and keeping getting people connecting like you are doing with, and the way you do the interviews, I like that. It's down to earth. It's just love. You feel comfortable in your company. So Lee, thank you for all you're doing. And if I can just say, I can say that on behalf of everybody, that you're doing a great job. So keep working at it like you are. Don't do it anymore professional than you are, because I like it.
No, I won't. I'll keep it like this. Yeah.
Keep your feet on the ground.
That means the world to me from you, mate. It means the world.
For having me on, Lee, and I'll do it again in a couple of years or whenever you want. Yeah. Maybe when I've finished all my bikes, we'll do it for my workshop.
Have a little tour, yeah.
Yeah, and
amazing.
So just to finish off, if I can just wish you all, my friends, fans, supporters, everybody in England, a Merry Christmas from Denmark, and keep safe in these horrible times that we are all experiencing with the coronavirus. At least now the vaccination program is starting in England, which is fantastic. We are waiting. I think it's 21 days before we can start. We're always behind. But
not in the Speedway, though. Not in the Speedway.
No. But Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah. And thanks for having me on.
And you, absolute honour and privilege. Thanks ever so much, Eric. Absolutely unbelievable. Forever grateful, mate. Thanks ever so much for your time.
Thank you.
All the best, Eric. And to the wife.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy. Thanks, Eric. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot. Wow. Erik Gundersen, what a man. What a rider. Unbelievable. Thanks ever so much, Eric. Wow. Unbelievable. What is going on? Oh, dear. Wow. Honestly. Wow. Erik Gundersen saying thanks for what you're doing. Like, is he? What the hell? Oh, man. Wow. Oh, well, I don't know what to say, to be honest. Great interview. Thanks so much. Thanks. Cheers, Wayner. How's it going, mate? Thanks for coming on, Wayner. Mr. Wayne Holloway. Top man he is. Great lad. Amazing friend. Wow. Thanks everyone for the nice comments. What an absolute legend. An honour and a privilege is really enough good a word to say. Wow. Can't believe it, man. Speaking to some of these guys, just meeting some of these heroes and idols of all of us, let alone being able to sit and reminisce, and they get lost in the moment and I get lost in the moment. Over 3 hours. That was brilliant as well when he said that he spoke to Hans and he said good luck with it, but there's no way he's staying on for 3 hours. The time just goes. Unbelievable though. Wow. Thanks ever so much, everyone, for all your amazing questions. I tried to get through as many as I could. Sometimes you could just find yourself just with a mouth open doing that, like, I'm with Erik Gundersen. Erik Gundersen. Unbelievable. I'm actually stuck for words. John Farr, the quickest 3 hours ever. Yeah, exactly. Where did that go? Where did that 3 hours go? Thanks, Lee. Top job, and what a legend Eric is. Jeff Daniels, much appreciated. He is indeed. Whoever you are from this point on, exactly. Barney Kevitt, Lee, you looked tough too, but great show, mate, and all. Love what you're doing. You're a star. Thanks, Barney. You're an absolute legend, mate. Thanks for coming on and digging involved. Dougie Wire, another great interview, Lee. Thanks ever so much, Doug. God, even to get all these legends that come on making comments and all you people, I'm just really pleased that everyone really enjoys it. It's like an absolute, just an honor to speak to all these guys. I felt like that about doing old BSMA riders that I used to race with, doing Q&As with them, just telling us personal stuff. I thought, but you know, to speak to your idols and legends in the sport of motocross and speedway, wow, how grateful am I? What a privilege, man. Unbelievable. Can't believe it. Cannot believe it. I've got to go to sleep. I've got to have tea. Who cares? Who cares? Enjoyed listening to my old mate Erik Gundersen, Lawrence Rogers. Mate, great show. Enjoyed the evening. Did not seem like 3 hours. Exactly that, John Brown. Where did that go? It's just amazing to get to speak to these guys. It's unbelievable. Great comments from people. I really appreciate it. Merry Christmas. Take care, Eric. What great, Eric. Such a great news. Thanks, Lee. No problem at all. Absolute pleasure for me. Don't need to thank me, guys. I'm on a roller coaster ride here. I'm just going with it. Absolutely loving life. Speaking to these heroes. Wow. Oh my God. I've got to go to sleep after all that. How? Oh, sure, I'll speak to my Laney Lou. Hopefully I'll be able to have some tea and might even have a cheeky cider to try and settle down to get to sleep. What about a cheeky cider, maybe? I don't even drink, really. Awesome, Lee. What a wonderful human being he is. 100%, mate. You wouldn't know, would you, that he was a superstar? He just talks to you like a friend in the street. And what an absolute guy. What an absolute rider he was. You'll never sleep tonight, bud. I won't. Oh, I'll have to literally wait to pass out. Bless my man. Love seeing your happy little face. Wow. Right, thank you, people. I won't hold you up any longer. I hope you all enjoyed it. Clearly you all did, which is amazing. Wow. I don't even know what I'm doing next week. Justin Wood, another great night. Cheers, Lee, and keep up the good work. I will. Justin, I'll do my best, mate. Cheers, Wayne Holloway. Ledge, how you doing, buddy? All the best, buddy. Glad you came on. Hope you enjoyed that. When Eric and I put his first book, Champ, together, we had so much fun. I haven't actually even seen that, Lawrence, so I might need to check that out. Get your well-deserved tea and have a rest. Wow. So I will share this out tomorrow, people. So if any of you want to share this out to any guys that didn't see this live, you can do that. Just a quick one on the Rob Herring competition on the bike. I've only got 23 tickets left now, so hopefully I'll be able to get this sorted for Christmas and give someone an amazing prize before Christmas would be really cool. So hopefully we'll do that. Obviously a lot going on with that meeting next year. That's going to be amazing. I'm over the moon to be involved with Kevin, my man Kevin Wheeler. You need it too, yeah, definitely. I need to have a massive come down tomorrow for this. Love little Poppy's tree. Yeah, I've got my little festive tree in the background now. Look, I've got Poppy because this is Poppy's room that I do this from. When she comes and stays at the weekends, every other weekend, we got our little Christmas tree there. So I thought I'd put that in the background for make it nice and festive for the interviews. So, see, hopefully you spotted that. Yeah. So next week I'm talking to a few riders. Basically, I've been trying to keep it because I was going a bit too mad, weren't I? You probably agree. I was doing like 5 or 6 a week at some point. I think people will have a job to keep up with it or even catch up with it, let alone watch it live. So sort of trying to keep it sensible so that you can all get involved and then all keep up with it and everything. So plan to do a couple a week and yeah, really enjoying that. And then because there's a lot of prep work that goes into it behind the scenes, as it were, a lot of prep and advertising it and then sharing it afterwards and everything. There's a lot involved, which I love doing, so it's no problem for you guys. Go give Lainey Smith a big hug. She deserves. Yes, she does. And she sent a love heart on the questions just a minute ago on the comment and saying whoa. So even my little Lainey Lou must have enjoyed it, hopefully. She's put whoa in her heart, so I always get touched by when she really likes something. I know it's good. Kevin Baker, phenomenally. Wish it had lasted longer. So many memories. The memories unbelievable, and it is so cool to get into the memories and their mindset and the details. And that was really nice as well. What Eric said about being relaxed and getting relaxed and just talking. That was a really nice comment, and wow. Might have to keep rewinding that back to myself and saying nice things to me. Oh dear. Who'd have thought a hello would have been enough from Erik Gundersen? Just a hello. Let alone talking for 3 hours and him saying some really nice stuff at the end of the interview. Wow. What a guy. Absolutely stunned still. Still don't even really know what to say to him. Other than I will keep you all updated. One thing I was going to do for you guys, hopefully everyone would be up for it. I was going to do like a Christmas special thing. Mr. JD, who come on tonight, Mr. John Davis, everyone I knew loved your first interview, loved John Davis's interview. I think it's still the most viewed now. What a character he is. He's agreed to do a Christmas thing and he was talking about it. And he said about Christmas Eve, and I said, "Oh, don't think we should do Christmas Eve. I think all the chaps out there will be rushing presents, wrapping up still on Christmas Eve. So I don't think that would be a good one." But we thought about it, and we thought that maybe Boxing Day evening, when people normally have done all the presents, normally watching some probably crap TV at that time on a Boxing night. What we're going to do is try and do a Christmas special. We call it Christmas Cracker or something, shall we? We're going to get John Davis. And apparently he spoke to Neil Midlow. So that'll be awesome. He's come on a few times as well with the comments. We're going to get them two together. So that'll be the first time I'll have two together. I've only ever spoke to one guest. Speak them together and maybe one more yet. So there could potentially be 3 people at once. Maybe one other. Maybe an American. We'll see. But so it'll be John Davis and Neil Middleditch. Great friends as everyone knows. They'll have some great stories. John's promised that he's going to come along with some crazy stories for us that I'm sure you'll all join. So maybe that could be something cool for everyone on Boxing Evening. So maybe remember that one. So yeah, Boxing Evening. Wish they could see you before you go live. You're not so relaxed then. Laney Lou ousting me out online. No, I do the whole and breathe, relax. But it's Erik Gundersen. It's like, holy shit. Yeah, so that'll be a Christmas cracker for you. We're going to go for Boxing Day night, probably around about the same time, 7 o'clock-ish or something, and strap yourselves in for Mr. John Davis, Neil Middleditch, and hopefully maybe one other. So that I'll confirm that when we sort that out. But yeah, so we're going to do that, and I will keep you updated on next week. Hopefully look to do a Speedway one and a Motocross one for you guys. Thanks to Adam Winslet, who does all the Farley Castle VMX. Farley, the donations. He does the interviewing for them. Thanks to him, he helped me with them videos. I really appreciate that. And if you look out for Adams, he's got an interview on Monday, I believe, with Mr. Knight, the Enduro man that everyone knows. He's I think he's looking for help to get involved in racing the Dakar as well. So tune into Adam on Monday night. So I won't be doing one on Monday night. We're going to try and not clash our interviews, ideally. So yeah, you can keep an eye out for Adam Winslet on Monday night with Mr. Knight. And I shall probably look at Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and look to do a Speedway and a Motocross one for you guys. So I'll keep you all updated. Mum's asking me out. Do you know you rub your nose for the first 30 minutes? Nerves, I think. Yeah, it's like yeah. It's that nerve thing, is it? Maybe. Who wouldn't be? Doesn't matter how many times you do this. Speaking to heroes and idols. Cheers to Erik Gundersen. Stefan Everett's a bit of cheeky gin. By the way, people, what the hell is actually going on? I got a video of Stefan Everett saying I support Lee Ashby and the Motocross Speedway members. What is going on? I sort of screenshot and save everything these guys send me. And my phone is just so full of them now, and it's just like unbelievable. Might be a little bit happy, maybe. Cheers, all. you only drink. Look, that's my idea of a drink. It's like I won't be able to finish it. Pathetic, aren't I? But you know. I do my best, which is not very good with a drink. You've only drunk an inch, yeah, pretty much. But all right, I'm going to go off for some tea. Hope you all enjoyed it. Yeah, I've mentioned tonight about the bike tickets. Rob Herring, competition for the bike. Only 23 tickets left. That'd be amazing to be able to do a live draw and give someone an amazing prize for Christmas. It would be unbelievable. So hopefully be able to sort them 23 tickets out in the next week or so. Would be perfect to do a live draw for that. We have still got about I've got 5 really amazing shirts. You've probably seen some of them hanging up behind me before. I might be able to just reach one. Hold on. Things like this. Look at that. Ricky Carmichael's Makita Suzuki Fox shirt with his number and signed it there, look, and he put the number on his signature. So we've got about another 4 or 5 shirts signed. I've got a Ken Roxon signed shirt to put up for a raffle prize. Ricky Carmichael's signed shirt. We've got a Tommy Searle signed shirt. We've got a full kit from Jeffrey Hurlins signed, and the bottoms as well with a butt patch, really cool, saying "Into the Lion's Den." Really, really cool. Chad Reed, who's now retired. Awesome Supercross and Motocross star. We've got his full kit from the GP that he did at Matley. And again, on the butt patch, he's got 2-2, I think, on the butt part of it. And number 22, obviously, his shirt and signed on the back of there as well. So it's really cool. And that was straight off his back after, well, the whole kit was after he finished. Is Mr. Man Speedway up for raffle? Oh, you're on a t-shirt. Oh, that's anything Speedway I've got to wear. So I've wore it a couple of times. Mr. Man Speedway, look. No, it's not up for raffle, mother. And there's the Dad's Milton Keynes race jacket either. Hopefully, I need a bit of Speedway apparel really to hang up. I've got loads of the shirts until they're gone. That is, I hang up behind me, but until they're gone. So yeah, we've got a few of them coming up. So that'd be an amazing prize. I will get more into the start booking people in and stuff like that, and for the big meeting next year, September the 4th and 5th, BSMA reunion. And a few people have still asked me about whether it's open to other people as well that are not BSMA or didn't race BSMA, and of course it will be open to you as well. So it's not just a former BSMA, you will be eligible to ride. But I'm sure with the interest we've got, we might have to be careful on what numbers we got, but we'll see as that goes. Thanks very much, people. I will keep you all in the loop on all the social media platforms, YouTube, and I will say as well, it was a lot better tonight. Most of you registered your profiles. You must have clicked the link before you come in. There was only a few that I seen that just said Facebook user, so that's good. So thanks for doing that. It literally just go on the thing before you actually just go straight in the live. It just says click on this link, and it just basically allows your profile page permission to be seen so that I can see who it is. Otherwise, sometimes people commenting, it's just a shame that you don't get to see who it is or comment who that name was, which has happened quite a bit recently. So it looks like people are starting to get on that now, so that's cool. Yeah, so we had a load of people on. We see Barney Kennett, Doug Wire, wasn't it? Paul Hurry, Bruce Pennell, Dennis Sagalos, Chris Morton, all the people that come on tonight as well, all the greats of our loved sport come on and made comments as well. Amazing. Speak to you all soon then, people. I will leave you with my dad's saying, which I love to leave on. It's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Speak to you all soon, people, and I'll let you know what's going on soon. Next week. Ciao, Bella.